Hello, everybody. Welcome back to No Glitches Allowed. My name is Jaypeg, and I am your host for this next run. This is going to be East 8, Lacrimosa of Dana or Donna. I'm not actually sure. I did get the first part. That's the important part. I wanted to remind us why we're all here and what No Glitches Allowed is. This is a charity event dedicated to speedruns with very few glitches or without glitches entirely. No major glitches, glitchless, maybe inbounds, any other run that doesn't have significant tricks or skips. And if you are interested in getting involved or finding out more, make sure you join our Discord and follow us on Twitter to get updates about future events and updates about this event. We're letting you know what runs are coming up. Speaking of runs that are coming up, it is time for our next run, which is going to be East 8 with Jack. So, Jack, are you ready to get rolling?
Just about. Just let me skip this cutscene that starts playing when you idle in the main menu, and then
Cool.
Then yeah, I'm pretty much ready.
Cool. Then
right, so
I believe the floor is yours.
Okay, so this is East 8 Lacrimosa of Donna. It is a action role-playing game in the long-running E series. If you've ever seen speedrun-related content related to this game, you might be wondering, what on earth? How can you run this glitchless? And in fact, I did have to opt into a previous patch in order to possibly prevent a glitch that might happen on accident. So yeah, this game is infamously quite broken, but today I'll be circumventing all that best I can. Without yammering on too much, I will. The difficulty select is mostly just how long do you want the bosses to last, and I would like them to be very short, so I will pick easy. And final countdown: 3, 2, 1. Begin. So, our hero, Adol Kristen, Adol the Red, he is the main hero of the E-Series, and today he is on a passenger cruise called the Lombardia, and he's been assigned by the captain to do kind of a, what do you call it, a security patrol. So we're going to go talk to a bunch of people to engage with story triggers, including our pal Dogi here. Unlike E7, Dogi is not playable, sadly. If you've ever played this game on like the current patch or on one of the console versions, you might notice that it's moving very fast. One quirk about the old patch is that in the engine is that when you have the games running at above a certain FPS, the entire game will just speed up. So that's one benefit to playing on the old patch. If you're not relying on damage glitches, which can occur more easily on the current patch, then it is better to just downpatch and reap the benefits of that speed up. And so we've already we're about a minute in, and we've made it to our first boss fight already. So this is just a giant tentacle. Basically, it's just a tutorial. It's the dodge tutorial. He actually doesn't really take damage during this, but you see that little stun bar, which is the blue bar at the bottom, is filling up. So basically, I just have to wait out this cycle, then I can actually start attacking him. So what I was doing there was I was pressing the dodge button like within a split second of the boss hitting me, and that would trigger a flash move, which puts the game into bullet time and makes me invincible and makes me also attack slightly faster. That's going to be pretty crucial to obviously completing the game quickly, because the faster you attack, the faster you will get to finishing the game.
That makes sense.
Yep. So the kind of the companion mechanic is flash guard, which also turns you invincible. You hit the guard button right as you're getting attacked, and that'll turn you invincible. It'll turn all your attacks into critical hits. So you can kind of do both at the same time, and that's basically what I'm going to be going for in a lot of the combat of this game. On this next screen here, I'm going to be recruiting a character named Laxia. She specializes in piercing weapons. The weapon type system is basically just a weakness system in this game. The bats in that fight were weak to pierce, but the slugs are weak to slash. But I use Laxia for both of them anyway, because she can kill them pretty quickly regardless. So Laxia was also a I didn't bring this up. When that tentacle attacked the boat crashed, and I ended up marooned on a desert island, and that's why I'm not on the boat anymore, and I am instead on a desert island. And the first fellow passenger of the Lombardia I came across was that noblewoman Laxia. So We're
Got it,
putting
so
together a plan.
shipwrecked.
Yep, shipwrecked. As it's a common theme in the E series. Oops. So Laxia does move a little bit faster than Adol, so I'll be using her for most of the game if it doesn't come to fighting, because she's actually not that good at fighting under the circumstances. This is the tutorial area. Basically, I get to find out what potions and armor and weapons are.
It's like here's all those, and as a speedrunner, you're like, yeah, okay, yeah, fine.
Yeah, I can actually skip these, but it's kind of out of bounds, so I don't do it here.
Yeah, I can't imagine that in No Glitches Allowed that would be the hot ticket.
So I just killed 2 bats there to just pick up level 4 real quick, just to make this next fight go slightly quicker. So that was Flash Move. I tried to hit Flash Guard as well, but I wasn't able to do it. There it is. So the skill I'm spamming here is called Dagger Fling. It's nice and fast and spammable. It doesn't cost very much skill points, which is kind of it's that blue thing on the bottom right that's going around the helm of that ship there. That's my skill points, and it's very cheap, and it hits 3 times at the same time. On the current patch, it would pretty much kill the boss instantly. It would trigger a damage glitch, and it would hit like 900 times at the same time, and the boss fight would be over in seconds. But thankfully, no such danger here, at least from my experience.
I don't know. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. At the other end of that cave was the captain of the ship. We found him pretty quickly, and he has kind of commissioned us with searching the island, charting the map, and trying to... I actually have to hit that war point. There we go. And trying to find the other castaways. The next guy we're going to find is Sahad. He's very strong. And he's going to help us defeat this dinosaur by hitting him in the head. So the dinosaur has the yellow numbers mean that I'm hitting him in his weak point, which is his head. I would like him to... I'd like him to attack me. Alright, I'll let my extra skill rip here. So this is the ultimate attack. It's called your extra skill. You can use it when that yellow meter fills up on the bottom right. As you can see, the animation is a little bit long, and... Oops. There's actually sometimes like pauses in it where you can't actually, where you're not doing any damage. So the use of the extra skill, despite the fact that it does a lot of damage, is pretty situational. You usually want to do it in like cycle-based bosses to kind of cut out a cycle of invincibility. And in fact, I would have preferred to hit Flash Move before I used it, so that the animation would be faster. Here's the fishing tutorial.
Alright, so this is a good game because it has fishing in it. Perfect. That's the only mark.
Yeah, you can get quite powerful if you do a lot of fishing, but this is the only time you'll be seeing it in the run here. Some of the later fish, like some of the stronger fishes, have some like really involved like quick time events, but that one was just mash X. You can read donations if you have any.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to remind everybody why we are here, which is to raise money for Go Rescue Adoption Center. So this is a shelter in Norfolk, Virginia. Go Rescue works to provide a haven for homeless dogs, giving them the time, care, and love they need to find not just any home, but the right home. As an owner of not adopted dogs, but adopted cats, it is still so important to me that animals not just find a place to be, but a place where they are loved and cherished and taken care of. So we are working with Go Rescue Pet Adoption Center to make that dream come through for as many pets as possible.
So that's a weird bug that can happen with the game sometimes, where it thinks that you fell out of bounds and voids you out and respawns you back where you jumped, even though you didn't do that. I guess my glitchless run is now null and void.
The scandal.
Yeah,
the drama.
I lost like 5 seconds off that, but clearly I'm cheating, actually. It can happen totally randomly. I think it's related to if you're like falling too fast or something.
The game is just like, you know what, no.
So, there's another castaway on this part of the island here. This is a different kind of castaway. She won't be playable, but she'll be in the village and kind of your hub, and she'll be the tailor of the town of Castaway Village. So you can bring her materials, and she'll make stuff for you. I'm not going to do that at all in this run, but that's kind of just introducing us to these sort of auxiliary castaways who don't participate in combat, but will help you in other ways, including clearing obstacles for you. Across the Isle of Saren, there are sometimes you'll see huge blockades, and you'll need to have rescued a certain number of castaways to clear that one. So that one I think was like 4 or something, or 5 I think.
Castaways, are you going to save in this? Just curious.
How many castaways am I going to save? Pretty much only the required ones.
Got it.
And I don't remember how many that is. But yeah, we're gonna be leaving some people behind.
This is their home now.
Yeah, it's nice, I'd say.
You know, apart from like the wolves and the dinosaurs, but it's beautiful. Good real estate.
Oh yeah, the dinosaurs. That'll be explained, I guess. That is the blade ring. It'll increase my strength by 10. In fact, I should be equipping that right now. There we go. So I think we've heard talk that there are people, or so the story is a little bit blurry in my head. I know that we're going to go to this dungeon. There's going to be 3 people here that we can find. This is kind of the first dungeon of... It's like the first real dungeon of the game. And it sort of introduces the structure of dungeons, right? There's a mid-point with a mid-boss, and then there's a boss at the end. And then usually there'll be like something like another castaway at the end of the dungeon.
Are we going all the way to the end of the dungeon, or are we just kind of getting what we need and getting out?
No, we're gonna go to the end.
Got it.
That's the second time that's happened in like 2 minutes. That's really frustrating. That was like the illegal void out glitch again. I have no control over. I mean, I have a little bit of control over when it happens, but sometimes it'll just happen anyway.
Hey, I mean, if the glitch isn't helping you, I think that's really the spirit of why we're here. If anything, the glitches that are hindering you are technically okay, I guess.
Oh, I have no. I'm under no
no
delusion that I'm going to get through a run without that happening at least once. So I don't really mind. I guess it's worth noting that this game doesn't have like an official glitchless rule set or even a leaderboard, and so anybody who wants to run glitchless can kind of just make up their own rules that they want. And there are a lot of like gray areas with respect to what's a glitch or what's an exploit or whatever, and so I guess it's up to the runner where they want to draw the line. So yeah, that was a boss. I kind of just spammed High Wave on it. High Wave is Sahad's like one of Sahad's default skills. The way you learn skills in this game is they kind of just pop up quasi-randomly when you're attacking stuff. Usually it's to do if the enemy is attacking is stronger than you and is below like 1/3 of their HP, then you can generally expect that you're probably going to learn a new skill if you have any that need to be learned.
Got it.
But
So
High Wave is going to be
random.
Yeah, High Wave, which is like again, it's like one of his starting skills. It's going to be carrying me a lot of the way through the game because it is very fast to use and it's quite strong on its own, despite the fact it only really hits once. Isn't really flashy or anything. It's still like it's basically just an upgraded attack, more or less. So now we're going to be introduced here to the infamous raids. We're just... our trek through this dungeon has been interrupted by the fact that beasts are attacking the village. So I have to go back and I have to do this this raid, as it's called.
Oh, like a siege style, like let's go save everybody.
Yeah, it's like a tower defense almost. Like this gate back here is what I'm trying to protect.
Got it.
So a lot of this is just kind of memorizing enemy spawn points. So I have most of them, I think. I'm pretty familiar with where most of them are going to spawn. I haven't like fully remembered where everything is. Like I know, like this first part, all these wolves are just going to spawn on this top part. Some of them are going to be back here. Another use for the kind of the castaways that you can't play as is that they will join in and they'll help you in this raid. Sometimes they'll like add effects to the battlefield, like extra crit rate or extra, I don't know, they'll like damage the enemies by themselves and like inflict statuses on them.
And does it usually help it go faster? Is it kind of still like an auto-scroller situation where it's just like, well, we gotta knock them out, but it takes a certain amount of time?
Yes and no, I guess. Like, you still have to, yeah, you want to kill them pretty quickly. Eventually, I think some of them will just disappear on their own, but it's obviously faster to just get rid of them as soon as possible.
As long as you protect the gate, that's what matters.
Yeah. So, there are a fixed number of waves. Like, once you kill all the enemies, then that wave is over, and this is the second wave of 3 for this particular raid. Wait, no. This is the one guy. Oh, yeah. Okay, so the AI took care of that one for me.
Perfect. Helpful AI. We love that.
Yes. So you see there's also a score on the top right of the screen, and that score will determine what rank I get on the raid. For the most part, I don't really care about what my score is, but for the second raid, which is going to be coming up kind of soon, for that one, I want to get an S, so I get a certain reward to increase my damage.
That would make sense. More damage means faster enemy kills, which means faster game.
Yeah, when I can't just instantly kill the when I can't instantly kill every boss with a damage glitch, I do unfortunately want to put some stock into my strength stat. So sometimes Dogi will just show up and just punch everything on the map. You saw him right there. That's probably like one of the better not castaway. Well, yeah, he's a castaway. One of the better things you can get. He just showed up twice in a row.
Drama.
So
that. You know what? We're solving problems with our fists, and that's powerful.
Exactly. I don't know if anyone in the chat has ever seen me do a run of East 7, but Dogi, he is playable in that game, and he kind of carries that whole run as well. But it's a little bit more glitchy in that scenario. So, yeah, I gotta kind of wait for these people to stop talking before the raid ends. You can actually disable these voice...
faster?
Yeah, you can actually disable those, but and that will make it go faster, but for the sake of the marathon, I choose not to, because there is some humorous dialogue. So, yeah, I have to go back to the middle of the dungeon and kind of retrace my steps. I think that's an odd design choice they made, just have us go back to the village randomly in that one spot. Then you have to redo some of the dungeon, but that is how it's done.
Does that happen in other dungeons too, or is it really just this one that interrupts you in the middle?
It's just that first one. The other raids come at more convenient points in the plot, thankfully.
We love it when monsters wait to raid until it fits into our schedule.
Well, actually, no. Monsters will be raiding all the time, but many of those raids are actually optional. Only those story-required ones are going to be done here. Because as you can,
they can deal with the rest.
Yeah. So the vines in this game are kind of finicky. Sometimes you just fall off them for no reason. So when possible, I will just skip having to climb across them like I did just then.
Sense.
So the next boss coming up is a little bit odd. He has 3 phases, but he can't actually die until he's on the 3rd phase, despite the fact that you can deplete his entire health bar in the 1st phase if you want to.
He still has to go through like all the phase changes and stuff.
Yeah, but he'll be at like 1 HP the whole time.
So really just throwing a tantrum.
Yeah, pretty much.
Love that for him. Very proud of him.
So here's how I can kind of stun lock him. And so what he's doing here is he's trying to push me off the log so that I can go to his next phase, but I can sort of stall him a little bit. I can stall him for as long as I want, really. If I land on the log when he's not shaking it, then I can just jump on and repeat over and over again, and then I can actually, yeah, that's how I can skip the entire boss fight. I wasn't able to do that this time. I'm gonna burn the extra here because he can do some annoying stuff here, and I want to skip it.
He reminds me of Chameleos from Monster Hunter. Like, I mean, I know he's like a big chameleon dinosaur, but like he totally does.
I'll take your word for it.
Chameleos is a big purple chameleon, so
Big purple chameleon.
And this guy started purple, I think, if I can tell colors apart.
Yeah, I mean, chameleons don't like to stay one color, as we know from school.
Yes, that's true. But why would everybody choose? Like, why would two different games choose purple as the starting color when they usually are green?
Are chameleons normally green?
I think so. I think they hang out in like a green-brown color usually because they're on trees.
I don't know.
I don't know. Chat. Chameleon expert in chat. Chameleon expert in chat.
Okay, so the castaway we just rescued is Kathleen the blacksmith. She's actually going to be a lot more useful. She can upgrade our weapons for us, and that is good. Wait, what? No, I don't go this. This is not glitchy run. I cannot go that way. Gotta go this way.
Thank you for your
cooperation. No, you actually can get up there without using what we would legally define as glitches. You can Sahad does a little bit of jump in the air when he does an extra skill, and some people opt to do that in their glitchless routes. I opt not to, because I find I kind of based this route on what I find fun to run.
That makes sense. You're the one doing it.
Yeah. So what I have to do now is, the captain said that we want to build a watchtower, and we have to find materials to gather to build that watchtower. And this is sort of our introduction to side quests, although this isn't a side quest; it's mandatory. But it's kind of like it's basically like a side quest, I guess. It's supposed to be the side quest tutorial, but it's not a side quest. So that was the driftwood. That's one of the 3 materials we need to find. Up next will be the tree, and then after that will be the rock. Then we have to go back to the village to hand in the quest. And then we have to go back here to continue the story. It's kind of, this is another case of making you warp back to the village and then making you warp back, but there's less retracing of steps in this case.
How much or not at all fast travel does this game have? Does it really kind of make you retrace your steps a lot?
This game has fast travel, but you can only warp to these crystals, basically.
Got it.
And like that first raid, which made me go back to town, I wasn't anywhere near any of the crystals, so that's why I had to retread a little bit. I was just in a random spot, pretty much.
Yeah, that's not super helpful.
All right, now I'm gonna hand in the quest. Watchtower.
Do you get like?
I think I do get a reward from this. I think when I skip the cutscene, I skip seeing what the reward is, but I think I got like something out of that.
A swift pat on the back, like a
effectively.
firm thank you.
Yeah, I end up with a lot of like stuff in my inventory, and I like kind of don't remember where it comes from most of the time. Anyway, I gotta go back this way again. But a lot of it is rewards from doing raids or reward. It's basically just all raid rewards. So pretty soon I'm going to be coming across another character named Hummel. Hummel is another piercing weapon type character like Laxia. He uses the best kind of weapon actually. He uses a gun.
That's a pretty good weapon, yeah.
Yeah. It's a bayonet too, so it works as both a shooty weapon and a stabby weapon. I'm actually I'm gonna be putting him in my party right now, actually. So Adol's the main character, but we're not really gonna be seeing very much of him at all. It's pretty much just that squid fight and then a fight later where I have to use him, and then that's all you're gonna be seeing of him for the most part.
It's like, thanks for helping. Bye.
Like he's gonna be benched until Hummel leaves the party, and then when someone else joins, we're gonna be benching him again. But
just like, you're not important. You're not that important. You can hang out on the side.
Yeah, well, in more glitchy runs, Adol's tornado sword. Where do I go again? Adol's tornado sword ability, which actually is in a chest that I could have picked up and chose not to, so as to not glitch out the game. That's probably one of the easiest ways to trigger the damage glitch. And it could even happen on this patch. So Addle is used a lot in other categories, but just not in this one. I gotta. There's some chests I have to get in here, and I have to remember where they are. So anyway, here is another boss. It is 4 little worms that are kind of stuck in the ground. Only 2 of them will spawn at a time. I'm using a skill with Hummel called Burst Shot. It is only costs 10 SP. It is very fast. It double hits, and it can actually penetrate. So I want to line up so that I can hit 2 worms at the same time. And I'm just gonna be standing in place, just spamming.
These are kind of like bird worms. Like they're worms that have beaks.
Yeah.
This is interesting biology.
And they have a lot of eyes, too.
Yeah, I guess this is just how worms are now.
And then, suddenly, surprise giant worm.
Oh, that's not good. Or it is good. One of the two.
I mean, I guess it was kind of annoying having to fight 4 of them when they would just pop into the ground like that. So, yeah, I'll welcome an easy target to hit, I guess. He just tried to attack me, but just missed completely.
They're like, he's like a worm bird flower. Because at which point do you stop having a beak when it's in like 8 pieces? Like,
you know, I think worms actually do. Don't worms actually look like that? Isn't that what their mouths look like? I've never seen one like up real close, so I wouldn't know. But I just kind of how I picture worms. At least a caterpillar, I think, looks like that.
Yes, I think caterpillars definitely do look like that. I don't know what a worm's mouth looks like.
Yeah, they have to eat something.
Yeah. How do worms eat? You know what? I'm asking really hard-hitting questions today. Do worms have mouths? Do they just like soak in dirt through their flesh? What's going on with worms? Worm experts, please weigh in.
Worm experts. Who was the other expert you called on earlier? I forget.
Expert.
Chameleon experts, yeah. Let me... Strength Elixir. And then, what was the other thing I need to do? Oh, I had to equip the Blade 2. And then get Blade 1. So the reason I'm using Hummel right now instead of Sahad is Hummel joins the party at level 20, which is actually a good deal higher than the other people. Like my other characters are like, I think we're like 16 when he joined the party. Very understandable. I wouldn't want to look at a worm up close either.
I want to Google what worm mouths look like. Y'all are on your own. Aw, fine. So what you're telling me is Hummel is really just going to carry this team?
For now. He's going to leave at some point, and then at which nobody comes back, we just don't have much use for him anymore. I guess the interesting thing about this fight is that this boss takes more damage on his head. So if I shoot, I'm trying to shoot him head on, position myself so I can shoot him head on at most times. But because Burst Shot also penetrates hitboxes, I'm also be shooting his butt at the same time. Anyway,
it's multitasking.
Yeah. I guess another thing I was interested in, that first boss would have given me an adventure gear, which is an equipable piece of a traversal item that would let me see in the dark, but I skipped it completely because it's not really that dark, and I can still see. And so this is Dina. She's like the merchant. So because we don't have money, what we'll actually be doing is we can trade up and down, which is basically just buying and selling. So I'm actually going to trade the fish I just caught. I caught during the fishing tutorial down for some, what was it, white meat, I think. Make a nice fish soup.
Fantastic.
That will be important, but you might forget about it by the time I get to when it is important.
I'll try to remember. I may need to write it down, but that's okay.
Tasty fish soup. Oh, also Dina gave us a can of insecticide as well, or something like that. Some kind of bug spray. And that will get rid of these wasp nests, which were blocking the way earlier. Actually, you can't see them because I have the draw distance set to really low in the interest of preserving FPS. But now there they are.
I mean, anytime I don't have to look at a wasp is a good time. So I'm not exactly going to complain about that because wasps are scary.
Yeah, these ones are particularly large as well compared to what you might see in the real world.
Yeah, if I saw a wasp that size in real life, I would lose my mind.
So so you're supposed to go around, but wait, actually, I'm supposed to have a chest I need to pick up. You're kind of supposed to go around through the dungeon, but they just didn't make that gap like large enough for me to not be able to just jump over. So I just went to the middle of the dungeon straight away. So yeah, see that parrot is telling me that the village has been raided, but that's an example of an ignorable raid trigger.
I thought that was a parrot and was like, is the parrot talking to us? But didn't want to broach the subject in case I just can't see correctly.
Hang on.
But glad to know that's a bird.
I'm gonna actually redo this. I screwed up. So what that tree boss has like a bunch of hitboxes, and you have to like defeat all the fruit basically at its roots. And I let my extra skill, which would have done a lot of damage, loose at a point when they were all invincible by accident. Also, I want to upgrade my weapon also, which I forgot to do. So just call a mulligan on that boss fight real quick.
Saw it, it's fine.
Yeah, so Sahad wants a good weapon here. Yeah. So I could actually upgrade by 2 tiers right now, which is good, because he had his starting weapon, and he would have been quite weak.
We love strength. Strength means speed in most games. If strength makes you heavy, maybe not so much. But in this one, it seems like your movement speed is pretty solid. So
Sahad is actually a pretty slow-moving character, and in fact, when it comes to doing movement, I'm just gonna be switching off him most of the time.
But if he hits like a truck, he can stay.
Yeah. So yes, a skill just popped there, and it was during a pretty inopportune time because I was trying to attack the guy, and then I just ended up using, because like when you get a free use of a skill the second you learn it to kind of demonstrate what it does. I'm like, oh, I don't want to use Great Ram, I want to use High Wave.
But if it's like, no, you have to see it. You want this new thing, right? Yeah.
I'm not going to be using it the whole game. Eventually, I'm going to learn a more useful skill, but just I haven't done it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. So yeah, you'll just see me constantly just switch to Laxia very briefly during fights, because Sahad just can't move that fast. So this game kind of introduced. So other East games have had party systems where you can switch between characters. Oh, well, my live split is frozen. I guess you don't really need my timer, though.
That's okay. Yeah, we have the RTA.
I want to put this. In this game, as opposed to the last 2 games, which had the party system, switching character puts the character you want to switch to in your position, rather than having the camera pan over to where that character was before and just you changing where you were standing.
Oh, that's so helpful.
So, yeah, just switching to another character just for movement purposes is actually pretty seamless. You just have to remember what position that character is in compared to where you are, so you know whether to switch backwards or forwards, which I might actually forget quite a few times. I think this is where the thing I want to get is. So yeah, I got an item called the Floating Shoes, so if we stand on the swamp. And here's an item called the Forest Guide. If I use this Forest Guide here, it will increase my adventure gear slot, so I can have the Climb Vines item and the Walk on Swamp item equipped at the same time. So that's kind of nice. You can also increase your adventure gear slots by more than 2 by getting more of those guides, but I'm only going to be using the 2. Because anything further than that is not particularly helpful to me.
Just unnecessary.
Here's a giant fairy hippo with eyes on its back, I guess.
Love that.
Adel just leveled up randomly, so I don't know what that was about.
That's fine.
So this is kind of a cycle-based boss. You have to defeat the eyes on its back before you can actually hit the boss proper. And then eventually he goes back in the swamp and you gotta do it again.
I like his flappy wings, though. It's pretty cute. The eyeballs on the back are a lot, but, you know.
Yeah. Ideally, I want to also destroy all his eyes before he sinks into the swamp as well. Because that's kind of annoying.
Swamp water hurt you at all?
Whoops, what?
Does the swamp water hurt you at all?
No. If I didn't have the walk on the swamp thing equipped, it would have slowed my movement down by a lot. And I wouldn't really be able to jump out of it. And I'd be stuck. So that's kind of the purpose of that gear. Although, as you'll see in I believe my glitch showcase incentive was met, you'll see later there's ways to get around that. I'm just going to burn the extra then. Since he wants to do this to me. There we go. There we go. So that was like a... I usually don't want to get that to a third cycle, but sometimes it just happens because of RNG or bad gameplay or a combination of both. So the next person we're going to be rescuing at the end of this dungeon is a medic, apothecary kind of person. His name is Licht. Oddly enough, we actually already have a doctor. His name is Kiergaard. We've already rescued him, so we have 2 doctors for some reason. It's almost as if we would think that... It's almost as if they put him there to possibly replace the other guy for some reason.
No reason at all? There's no nefarious reason behind this?
So, anyway, next raid. This raid kind of also kicks off the Nameless Ripper segment, which is a kind of a side... Not really a... Kind of an aside the plot takes, where there's a... serial murderer among us in the village, and it kind of turns into a murder mystery.
That's fun.
Oh yeah, this is the raid I want to get an S on, by the way. So I have to kind of... Basically, the way you can... The best way to get points is to not take damage, which is hard. So I just took damage right there. But you get like 2,000 points, I think, for going hitless on one of the waves. Why am I using Laxia?
Are you able to reattempt it if you don't get an S, or is it just like, well, sorry?
Yeah, I just have to deal with it if I don't get an S. Let's see. I got the 1,000 points for eradication, which is where you kill all the enemies before they run away or something. I actually don't know what they do if you don't kill them. I guess at some point they disappear. And then there's
they
like
just walk home.
Yeah, there's just like little bonuses you can get also, like quick kill or aerial kill. I didn't mean to hit that button. I kind of wanted him to like swat at me with his hands, that walrus right there, like that, so I could flash guard, flash move that, and then you get points for doing that as well. But anyway, I failed miserably. Wait, where are the guys? There they are. Raids are a very good point for donations, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely help out with that. I wanted to remind everybody what we are donating to and what this is for. This is for Go Rescue Pet Adoption Center, a dog shelter in Norfolk, Virginia. And our history is in 2011, a local woman named Georgia Obenhouse lost her home, and her only focus became how to prevent her family dogs from going back to animal control. Starting out just with an empty shell of a building, Go Rescue soon became not just a place for her current rescues, but a shelter that has grown to rescue over 2,000 dogs to date with no signs of slowing down. So that is who we are working with today, is to get animals not just into a home, into the right home that's going to love and cherish them. And Go Rescue has been doing that for long enough that we've had 2,000 dogs saved, and I don't know, maybe we can save a few more here this weekend. And by the way, oh,
I'm sorry, I'm talking to myself.
no, you're good. And by the way, if you do want to donate, you can type !donate in chat. Thank you, Cassasaur, for queuing that up for us. That is also where you can learn about some of our incentives that are going on. A couple of ours right now are Mirror's Edge and Anno Mutationem. So one of them we're pretty sure means that we get to meet Santa Claus. That sounds pretty awesome. So I would love it if we could donate to some of those. We can play on hard mode. And we also have a poll open for Loom to see whether we bully or let Miss Dragon take a nap. Right now, the votes are for letting her take a nap. So if anyone wants to choose violence, this is your opportunity to take the lead. You could be the one.
Alright, so the dinosaur is back. Ideally, I want him to swipe his neck at me so that I can flash move and flash guard that, and you get extra points for that, like I said. But that didn't happen. He instead ran for the gate like a chump, and I had to just put him out of his misery without getting the free 500 points for the flash move and the flash guard. So I think the threshold for S rank I think is 52,000. I only got 49, so did not get my power wrist. I can totally do the run without. I'll just leak a bit of time to being a bit weaker.
I mean, it means that we have a longer run, much longer marathon, more donations. So no complaints here.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay, so one of our castaways, whose name is Sir Carlin, who is a snooty noble, tried to escape, and now we're trying to figure out where he went, because he took our only boat, or kind of our only raft for fishing. I think he went this way. So we have to kind of, it's another kind of instance of step retracing. We've already been to this area, but there's gonna be a little fight against some sharks. It kind of comes out of nowhere. Anyway, as Sir Carlin tries to escape, he is attacked by the tentacle monster from the beginning of the game. Basically, he's kind of stopping us from escaping the island, so we have to figure out how to deal with him in addition to how to build a boat to get off. And we don't hear from him. We're not going to hear from him again for the rest of the run. It should be noted a motivation for him wanting to escape without us was the fact that we do have a murderer in our village who's been trying to attack people, not been successful in killing anyone yet. So here we're gonna interrogate some of the other villagers.
That not successful yet is doing a lot of work in that sentence.
Yeah. I always call him the world's worst serial murderer because he really doesn't do a lot of serial killing, so to speak. Wait, oh, I go up here.
So can I ask, is endgame just to leave the island, or is leaving the island something you do early-ish, or like partway through, and then there's more after it? I'm curious.
Endgame is to leave the island. Kind of partway-ish through the run would actually be when we defeat that tentacle monster, but then it turns out there's other stuff we have to do before we leave the island. Anyway, so the Dr. Kiergaard was the murderer, and so now I'm gonna go chase him down and apprehend him, I guess.
The healer was the murderer?
Yeah, the first one. The second one was fine.
I wasn't sure when you were saying it whether it was that one of the healers was going to get murdered or be the criminal. I kept it ambiguous. Yeah.
Didn't want to give away the whole story.
Thank you for thank you for doing that.
This boss is pretty annoying. Partly because he's a very small target. He likes to jump around a lot and, you know, attack you with like cheap booby traps that come out of the ground, but mostly just because every time you hit him, he goes. So that's kind of annoying.
Yeah, maybe another voice line would have been great.
But yeah, pretty simple fight. I mean, this is easy mode, so I can kind of just stand in front of him and spam, and he won't really do that much to me. I guess I can bring up the fact that if you are in a skill animation, depending on the SP cost of the skill, you'll actually take a damage reduction. So I kind of do want to be like, once I unlock like the stronger skill that I'm going to be using later, I kind of want to be using that at all times, so that I don't get like hit in the face a lot for big high damage. Anyway,
I mean,
now for
not getting hit in the face is good.
Now for something completely different. This is Donna. She's on the cover of the game. She's on the title screen. She's in the name of the game. She is I guess like a priest of some sort from like 1,000 years ago. And Adol keeps having like dreams of her. And I guess this is one of them. This is the first one that's actually playable. The other ones were just in cutscenes. I sort of remember Donna's story. The early parts I'm not so sharp on, but basically she's trying to become the Maiden of the Great Tree, and she has to undergo some kind of trial, I think. And then at the end of that, she's gonna plant a tree, and that will have some significance later on.
Should we be concerned considering that Lacrimosa translates to like weeping or crying?
Possibly.
Okay. You know, not to give everybody a spoiler based on like Latin, but I don't know. Maybe some drama is afoot here. There might be something sad in this video game.
Yeah.
But she's fine right now. She's cute.
What's pretty sad is that there's like environmental hazards, wind, that's impairing my movement. Ugh. That's pretty sad, I think.
That is pretty sad.
Anyway, the real challenge there. I fell. The real challenge there is. Oh, do I have to start again? Damn, fell all the way. The real challenge there is that the wind is supposed to be pushing me off that really thin log. Get out of here! But I can kind of just jump all the way over it. Anyway, man, don't fall down again. I got careless and I just jumped off the edge and fell. Hold on, I'm gonna try to not do that again. There you go.
I mean, it looks like Donna moves pretty fast, so.
Yep. Those cabbages were not making things easier, though. I don't know what those are. I call them cabbages. I think a lot of people call them cabbages.
Yeah, they look like big seed pods or something, so cabbage makes sense.
Oh, I didn't mention that, right before we defeated Kiergaard, he actually did manage to kill the captain, so he did manage to claim one victim, but that's the only one, pretty much. We also blame him for the disappearance of Sir Carlin, so we say that he killed 2 people, but he didn't really kill him. And also, spoilers, he's actually alive, but you only get him to rejoin the village in a side quest, so we won't see that. Where do I go again? Here.
Got it. So he's dead to us.
Yeah. Also, we didn't like him very much. Like we said, he was very snooty and kind of a rash at our side. His before he leaves the village, his ability during the raids was actually I think it raises the attack of the monsters. So he's not much of a help to us.
Oh, why would you ever want that?
I don't know. Anyway, so here's a giant tree. You know, we see this right after we saw Donna plant a tree in the ground 1,000 years ago. So I guess I'm sure there's probably a connection there. But yeah, this giant tree branch was not here before, now is.
Sure, it's fine.
Yeah. So this will oh, this is also going to be like one of our earliest run-ins with the primordials. Primordials are they're dinosaurs. I don't know why they're called primordials in this game. But we saw a dinosaur earlier, and now there's just going to be more of them up this mountain, which is called Mount Gendarme. That's kind of our next dungeon.
I mean, I guess you can call dinosaurs primordials, but
Yeah, but you would
they
think
are
that
just
like
dinosaurs.
you would think that like dinosaur would be, it was like a copyrighted word or something. The fact that they can't call them that. I don't know. It
They're-
always struck me as odd. This is actually the second English localization of the game, and they used to be called Ancient Species before they patched it.
So they were still avoiding the word dinosaurs.
Yeah. So, but I hadn't actually played this game until like a couple years ago, but supposedly back when it first came out, the translation was just so bad that they actually had to just redo the whole thing in a patch. But thankfully they've kind of righted their wrongs. It's the same company that did it, NIS America. So
Letting
here's a
us
fun,
down, just calling dinosaurs.
yeah. Here's a fun little dungeon. Basically these rocks are gonna be boulders are gonna be rolling down this hill, and they can hit me, do 47 damage to me, slow me down a little bit.
Oh.
And I guess I could just wait for I could wait for them to go by, but it's mostly random when they hit me. And I usually just blow full straight ahead and just hope I don't get hit by the rocks.
That sounds like a speed run.
Yep. What am I gonna stop?
Yeah. That's not allowed.
Not a stop run.
It's so true.
You know, I'm gonna do this now, actually. So here's a monster called a Zaspian.
That sounds like a Pokemon name.
Yeah, he can drop a Zaspian tail, and which is kind of nice. So I gotta kill a few of them. Hopefully I get 2 of them. If not, there's backups. And also the main reason I'm beating up on that is so I can learn Magna Wave. That's going to be our bigger damage dealer for most of the rest of the run. So that one dropped in a Curse Shell, which is actually also kind of works. There's one Zaspian tail. If I don't get a second one, then I'll have to make one using materials. Normally I do that grind a little bit later, but I decided to do it just then, just for the hell of it. I didn't have anything else to talk about.
Hey, I mean, you're just checking things off your list. That's what matters.
Yeah. So right there we found a cabin. So clearly other humans are inhabiting this island. We kind of inspected their private belongings. Sort of get a feel for what people tend to do when they get trapped on this island.
Can't imagine if I was trapped on a desert island that I would be doing what the party is doing and running around getting like up in a bunch of dungeons and stuff like that. I probably would be like, you know what's safe? This village right over here.
Well, you know what? No one left behind, right? That's what our motto is right now.
Heroic. I don't know. Maybe that means that I'm not a hero.
I'm not a hero either.
We just want to go fast and be safe. That's fine.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I've mentioned this. We're not going to be saving every castaway.
Just a good amount. We're
I
saving
don't know
the
if you've
ones
been paying
that matter.
attention. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but this is the 3rd time I fought this very same boss.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's a thing, right?
Yeah. Every time you fight him, he gets like I think 1 or 2 new moves, but mostly it's just the same guy again.
I'm considering this the main villain.
Yeah,
now.
yeah, clearly. You know, absent anyone else, right?
Yeah, this is this game's Ganon. I will be taking no further questions at this time.
I think he's more like an Ultros, who was the actual main villain of FF6.
That's true. That's very true. Good old Ultros.
Oh, so anyway, that little girl who you saw for like a frame is Ricotta. She's
Like
a girl
the cheese?
Yeah, a little bit. Like she's a girl who's like lived on the island basically her whole life, and wait, I think there's another cutscene here, so I gotta warp again. So she joins the party, and I'm going to wait. No, that's wrong. I don't want to go. I want to go here. There we go. She joins the party, so we're gonna add her because she does Rakata does strike type damage, which is what Sahad does. If you have two characters with the same damage type, that type will be stronger by about 10%, I think. So good for more strength.
Yeah, making for bigger hits.
So what we've learned here is that dinosaur, when we defeat, because the reason why we have to keep fighting it, is because we're not able to kill it. We can't kill dinosaurs at all, actually, with our current weapons. In fact, we need our weapons to be forged with orichalcum in order to defeat to permanently kill dinosaurs. Or primordials. So, luckily we came across this native to the island, Rakata, and she knows where there is a stratum of orichalcum in a cave up here.
Got it. So she's
our
helper.
The reason we know about orichalcum is because it was mentioned in one of Adol's dreams about Donna. So, Donna's kind of been helping us with... Where am I going? Oh, no, this is the right way. Okay. Yeah, Donna's kind of been helping us by giving us info on, like, what to do with the island, because she knows everything. So, yeah, up ahead is the cave. The Cavern of the Ancient King, I think it's called. It's not really a dungeon, it's like one screen. But there's gonna be a little trick that you'll see, I guess. So if you do a jump slash, which is where you attack on the height of or on the ascent of your jump, you'll get a little bit of height there. So I was able to get up on top of that ledge that I'm not really supposed to be able to get up on top of. That'll just let me jump right to the bottom of the dungeon, whereas normally I would have to climb all the way down a hill. So I've got the orichalcum I want. Now it's time for another raid. Wait, yeah. So this one isn't a raid like the other ones. It's called a hunt. Instead of defending the village, we are actually attacking an enemy base, and you have to destroy these large nests of monsters. What happens is the nests take very negligible amounts of damage until I light that torch, in which case their defenses drop significantly, and I'm actually able to destroy them pretty quickly.
So if this isn't a raid but a hunt, are we the ones raiding then?
I guess theoretically.
The tables have turned.
Yeah. Anyway, there's a bunch of these. These were actually added when the game was ported to PS4. It was originally up for the PS Vita, the hunts. So there's a lot of extra content from that in these modern versions of the game that was not in the original Vita release, which very few people have played because who had a Vita, right?
I was about to say, I haven't thought about the PS Vita in a while.
Yeah, you wouldn't think this game... I mean, this game doesn't have amazing graphics or anything, but I think it looks pretty nice for what was actually a portable game.
Yeah, no, it's very nice to look at, which, I mean, you would hope that, like, RPGs or things in this vein would be, but, you know, not always the case, so it's a delight to look at. Good colors, yeah. Good art, yeah. So,
once I've destroyed all the nests, I end the raid by defeating a boss, or the hunt, I guess. I want to kind of get rid of him before he runs away. So that's an example of where I would want to burn the extra skill and kind of sit through that animation, because I don't want him to run away, otherwise I have to wait for him to respawn, which can take a while. That was a pretty good hunt.
I mean, it looked good to me, but I'm not an expert, so.
Yeah. Also, like the fact that the boss could spawn at a random location is also kind of a point of RNG, but he spawned right behind me. I didn't even see him where he was at first. I had to look at the map.
He was hidden in plain sight, just directly behind you.
Right. So after that hunt is another raid. Like I said, originally that hunt wasn't in the game, so rather than having to do two back-to-back mini games like this, it was just this.
And now it's the back-to-back.
The good thing about the Orichalcum quest is that it gave me a free upgrade to my weapon, because now I have an Orichalcum weapon, and so Sahad's a bit stronger. Everybody gets a forced upgrade to their weapon after that hunt. So I don't have to gather any materials for that. Anyway, if you have anything to read, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I can definitely remind everybody. So what I also want to talk about is Complete-a-thon. So several members of the No Glitches Allowed team also work on staff for Complete-a-thon, which is an event that features completionist or 100% categories. This event typically takes place in the summertime. Feel free to follow us at twitch.tv/Complete-a-thon and at Complete-a-thon on Twitter for announcements so that you won't miss out when the next Complete-a-thon event takes place either. So if you like this team and like what we're doing, feel free to follow us over there as well.
The Zaspians can also spawn here during this raid. Monsters don't have really very high of a drop rate during raids, but they can drop stuff. So I'm still on the lookout for the Zaspian tail. That's wait, I think this is the longest. Yeah, this is the longest raid of the story raid. I think it's 5 waves.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, in that case, if I can talk about some of our incentives and how we're doing on that.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, so we currently do have 2 incentives open, which is Mirror's Edge to upgrade the game to play on hard mode. It doesn't actually add a ton of time to the marathon, but what it does add is drama, and we love, making things a little bit more tough and dramatic for our runners. The other one is for Anno Mutationem, which is to meet St. Nicholas. I'm pretty sure that's Santa. But what I really, really want to point out, and what's really, really exciting about this, is that these incentives are actually for tomorrow. We are already doing tomorrow's incentives today, and we're almost out of incentives, so you guys are just blowing through those and meeting every single one of the goals, which we are so, so, so grateful for. And I just think that it would be really, really cool if we could finish out the incentives before we actually hit the final day of the marathon. So if you would like to help contribute to my dream, you can go ahead and type !donate in chat to get to our Tiltify donation page. And send some money towards those super awesome incentives.
So there's a little bit of a sneak preview of the kind of things you might see in a glitch showcase. You're not supposed to be able to hover across the screen like that, but you can kind of reset your aerial attack combo by switching characters at a very specific point in the animation, and that'll kind of get you to float around.
And I believe that your glitch exhibition has also been met. So we will get to see some of that stuff later.
Yeah. So, like, the rule I gave myself about stuff like that is that if I'm allowed to do that in a glitchless run just to, like, entertain myself between the raid waves and, like, after boss fights while the screen's fading out, that's totally legit. I'm not actually, like, glitching through the game. But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of freedom with respect to what a glitchless run actually is, since we haven't really talked about what a glitchless run would look like among the community. We keep saying like we're going to, and then like people don't care enough. But I do enjoy the kind of the freedom and the runner choice. Forget where this guy spawned. Here, right here.
Yeah, and I mean, if it's happening during a sequence where like you can't do anything and it's not actually helping you, then I don't know, it's good practice.
Yeah. I have been meaning to come back to some of the other categories. I just haven't had time. I want to make sure my switch canceling is on point when that happens.
I mean, it looks like some of these categories are a little bit long, so unless like glitched categories really shave off a lot of time on average.
Any percent is 11 minutes.
Wow. Okay, that's different.
Yeah. Then there's 80%, or not 80%. There's true ending, which is about 40 minutes. That involves a lot of flying around. All story bosses, I think it's down to an hour 14.
That's wild. That's a big. So what you're telling me is a lot of those glitches really make a difference.
Yes. You'd be surprised what we found with this game.
You know who else can make a difference? You, chat, and you can help us donate to Go Rescue Pet Adoption Center. I'm sorry, I just had to make that plug.
That's good. Anything for the dogs. Oh, am I in the last wave already? Dang. Alright, I gotta defeat the dinosaur one last time. Now that I have orichalcum weapons, he will not be bothering us anymore after we get rid of him here.
Oh, I'm gonna miss him when he's gone.
Oh, don't worry, there's lots of dinosaurs. And his name is Avalodragil. He's, for the long time in the speedrunning community, he has had the nickname Avocado because no one can really remember what his actual name is.
I think that's a good nickname. I like that nickname.
I don't want to have to use my extra here because I want him to save it for the next boss fight, but if he runs away too much, I might not have a choice. Now he's close to being defeated here, and there he goes. Rip Avocado.
Rip to a real one. We knew you well, or didn't. I think we knew him well.
I did. I know him pretty well. I've run this a lot. One day I'll make it over the gate. Still not found out how high the invisible wall actually is.
I believe in you.
Okay, so now I can go back to the mountain. So we're going to make it to the summit of the mountain and find out what's on the other side. And there's a whole entire world out there on the other side of Mount Gendarme. So that'll be exciting. Some of my favorite some of my favorite party chat is on this part. Some chests I can get here for. I don't think I've been picking up like any like backup revive items. I think there's one right here. Because I can die in battles if I get careless, and that will be unfortunate because dying is bad. And sometimes getting the rest of the party killed so I can just retry the fight with Sahad is can be slow. Man, I nearly wet myself. Be quiet, Sahad.
Oh. You know what? Sahad just likes to share. Sahad's just really comfortable.
Yeah, but kind of a big theme with this game is the fact that people from all walks of life are coming together for a common cause out of circumstance. Like Laxia is like a rich noble woman from what's the East World equivalent of Germany actually, and then she's not had much experience with commoners, but here comes Sahad. He's a fisherman. He likes to talk about how he has gas sometimes. He's loud and boorish, but he's also very kind. So yeah, there's a lesson about like different people. Be nice to different people, I guess. In here,
I mean, that's a good lesson.
Yeah,
we can all find some commonality, especially when we're trying to get off of what is clearly not an actually deserted island, but it's not the island we wanted to be on.
Right.
We can all unify around leaving.
This boss is his name is Jayus Burn. The big thing with this boss is that after a certain amount of attack cycles, he will fly away and become invincible for about 30 to 40 seconds. So I'd like to prevent that as best I can. I've not really gotten good attack patterns so far to make that possible, but generally not too hard with the setup I've got going. It would help a lot if I was able to get the power wrist, of course. So what I want to do is I want him to slam his hand on the ground like this. There we go. I want to be able to. Sometimes he only does it once. He did it twice there. That one I whiffed. Oh dear. There we go. Now here he's gotta slam onto the ground here. There we go. Did I actually not hit flash guard there? Whoops.
This chicken looks a little weird.
I don't know what he is. I guess he's a... I thought he was like a dragon kind of thing, but he really is a bird, isn't he?
There's something chicken-esque about him to me, but
well,
I don't know.
There he goes. It's been a while since I've seen him do this, sadly. So there's nothing I can do about this. I have to wait it out. Ideally, I wanted to skip this attack. Because he's up there, I can't go up there. And he's gonna fly around over here. Alright, you done yet? So some of that was bad luck, some of that was me screwing up.
I think 30 to 40 seconds of invulnerability is, you know, a little bit punishing for a boss fight in a speed run, so I can't really blame you on that one. That's rough.
Yeah. I kind of thought that I was at the point where, you know, I would have been able to prevent that no matter what happened, but I just ended up whiffing too much. My flash guards and my flash moves, which would have let me get a lot more damage off. Anyway, now I get to descend the mountain on the other side. Oh, I guess that's... I think this party chat here, they're talking about the monster we just fought, so I guess it actually was a primordial.
Oh!
I'm not sure what they're talking about. Grab this chest here.
Weren't dinosaurs, like, there's some depictions of, like, dinosaurs having, like, feathers and stuff like that, and they're, like, the ancestors of birds, so...
Yeah, possibly.
That makes sense.
Yeah, we say that. Didn't we decide that the chicken descended from the T-Rex? Or the... Yeah, the chicken.
I think you're right.
There might be an urban legend, I don't know.
I've definitely heard it. Whether or not it's true is a different question.
Yeah. I haven't talked about the soundtrack yet, but obviously the songs are very good. People who have played any other East game, or really any game from the developer Nihon Falcom, I've known to expect great music. I just submitted this. I just did RPGLB submissions, and I submitted this category, you know, on a whim. And I mentioned as part of my submission that this game has a soundtrack to rival the first Cars album.
That is such a great selling point.
Yeah.
That's a really good way.
Might be an exaggeration, I'm not sure.
Nah, I like it.
Oh no. Can't believe this happened.
Can't believe this is happening.
Yeah, so I guess I can talk a little bit about the movement. It's mostly jumping and rolling. Actually, no, I have something else to talk about here. So there's a trigger down there, like kind of where that rock is. I want to not hit it so that I can skip a cutscene and another Donna section. So what that was is if you attack while you're falling, you'll do like a downward thrust attack, but you can also press the dodge roll button to roll out of it, and then you can then chain into another one of those downward thrust attacks. So Ricotta in particular has like a really floaty downward thrust, and so if you just spam attack and roll in midair, she kind of just glides. So I did that to jump over a trigger, and I skipped over another playable Donna section, and in fact, that also disabled some of the cutscene triggers that are here, including a section where Ricotta gets kidnapped by dinosaurs and I have to rescue her. So yeah, that will be one of the gray areas I've mentioned about, you know, exploits, glitches. But I think just jumping over a cutscene trigger is fair game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, if you can, it's not like you're like doing things where it's like, well, I'm entirely clipping over this. It's just like very careful jump.
Yeah.
Makes
Yeah, and
sense to
it's
me.
like I said, it's mostly just like I have my my rationale for this and that, but it's mostly just based around what I find fun to run. So I think flying over that cutscene trigger is fun, so I do it. And there'll be a couple other instances of ricotta hovering, as we call it.
So, does Ricotta not get kidnapped at all, or does she just kind of like blip out of your party?
She does not get kidnapped. She does
Oh,
not
that's really
stay
convenient.
kidnapped. Normally, she does not stay kidnapped for very long. It's like one fight against some dinosaurs, just like some mobs, and then she's back. Where am I going? This way? I always get lost here. It's just kind of like there's no clear path ahead. It's just a big open plain. But as you can see, the dinosaurs are becoming more plentiful in number, and they're becoming a lot stronger as well.
Nature is healing?
No.
Maybe?
Actually, it's the opposite of that, but we'll get to that.
The nature is getting worse.
Yes. You can say that. God, this way? Question mark? Yeah, this way. Oh my goodness, a near miss. Okay, it's this way, yeah. So, like I said, pretty much all the cutscene triggers have been disabled except for this one, which will bring me back on track. And this crystal will take me to another Donna section. This is where we find out that Donna has also been, 1,000 years ago, has also been having dreams of Adol and his friends. And now she's going out of her way to plant trees in the ground that will help them on their journey. So right now they're stuck on a giant cliff and can't go anywhere and can't go any further. So we'll be planting a tree to kind of build a bridge across there, and that's sort of what Donna's purpose is at the moment.
So, I feel like when I'm watching you do the movement as Donna, and she's doing this like flip, whatever, some part of her costume that has like the trails, they look like little bunny ears. Like
Oh yeah,
I need to do that.
never thought about that.
She's bunny hopping.
Like a speed demon. But yeah, like I said, the movement is like you jump and you roll. There's another form of movement called attack roll canceling, where you attack and then you immediately roll, and that can make you go pretty fast. But on this particular patch, which runs at only 144 FPS as opposed to the current patch, which is 200, it's not as fast as jumping and rolling. So I just don't do it. I did it when I was at the very beginning of the game before I got Laxia. I was doing it, and then after I got Laxia, who just jump rolls faster, I stopped doing that. And then sometimes if you're going up a really steep hill, it's better to just jump and not roll. And yeah, like there's a little bit of nuance to how you approach your movement. Here's a nice part of the game. Every like 3 feet, there's another cutscene trigger telling you go here.
Oh, great. That's what you wanted, right?
Yep.
As a speedrunner, that's ideal.
Yes. I have no clue where to go. I wouldn't know where to go if they didn't tell me where to go.
That's true. It's not like you've played this enough that it's in your memory, or you could have notes or anything. No, we have to have the game. Tell us.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, what those cutscenes were is that they were showing us another guy on the island. So we found another, I guess another castaway. It turns out the man's name is Thanatos, and he is I guess he's Ricotta's adoptive father, sort of. And he's been on the island for a while. He's an explorer, and he got stranded a good bit ago.
So people keep getting stranded on this island?
Yeah, he's not managed to find a way off.
That's not mysterious at all.
Yeah, it's hard to escape because, like I said, it's guarded by a giant tentacle monster.
Yeah, that's true. And they're all just like, wow, bummer.
So what happens when we find this guy and talk to him is that Hummel was on the Hummel was on the Lombardia because he's like a mail delivery person, sort of. He calls himself a transporter, makes his job sound a lot more important than it is. But he's basically just a delivery guy, and he came to bring. He supposedly was on the boat to bring Thanatos a set of blueprints to build a boat. So that's going to be our next phase of escape the island, is going to be to build this boat. But the boat building is mostly going to be going on in the background while we do other stuff. But that will ultimately be how we escape. Anyway, so we're playing as Donna again. Donna goes up here. Apparently there's some kids who are playing hide and seek and they can't find the other one. So presumably I'm supposed to go look for her, and that will lead me into a dungeon where I have to fight a boss. But I have better plans.
Do you go through dungeons as Donna?
Yeah, you can go through dungeons as Donna. There's a main dungeon called the Sanctuary Crypt. It's really, really fun. This one required part where you have to do it, I found it kind of dull, so I just decided I want to skip it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go up these stairs. I'm going to go up this hill here, which is actually where I started this section. I'm going to do something like this. So there's a turn back trigger that I just jumped over there, and that lets me go in here, which is where actually I came from during the last Donna section. And I'm just going back the way I came, and I'm gonna hit the trigger to end the Donna section from the other side, so I don't have to fight that boss.
No glitches here, folks. Just careful, prudent routing and jumping over triggers. That's allowed.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, I can't unsee the rabbit. You know what I think those bunny ears are? I think those.
I'm so sorry.
Oh no, wait. That's no. That is her part of her outfit. But also, like when she brings her weapons out, those also look like bunny ears because she has like double swords that she uses as a weapon.
I'm so sorry for like getting this vision in your head.
It's not a problem. You like rabbits.
I think it just kind of makes her cute. She was already cute, like her art's really good, but this is better.
So now we're coming across the ruins of the Great Tree. So, I didn't even explain where we are right now. This is these are the ruins of Eternia, which is actually where Donna lived, and that is where we are during her past sections. So I guess we're now trying to uncover the mystery of what happened to this place. You would think it would just be the passage of time, right? But no, there is a story behind what happened to the people and the city of. Well, I guess this is the capital of Eternia. It's called Aegeus, but usually we just call it Eternia for short.
Yeah, I mean, if this island was mostly deserted and there used to be like a whole city on it, that's not a good sign.
Yeah. So this is the Temple of the Great Tree. It's the ruins of the Temple of the Great Tree. And there's a giant statue that came to life. Which is unfortunate, but it'll be fine. I'll kill it. Then we'll be hit with a big surprise when we come to the other side of this dungeon.
I'm excited to see what that is.
Do you have anything else you want to read? I'm just kind of using one move here.
Yeah, absolutely. What I did want to mention is that with our like super cool, you notice that QR code that's on your screen right now? That is actually a scannable QR code that'll bring you to the donation page, which I think is pretty neat that we have given you more than one way to access that donation page. You can type !donate in chat as well. Either way, we'll bring you there. And I did just want to check in. I don't think I talked about it last time. We do have a bid war open right now, which is for the game Loom. And we can either bully or let Miss Dragon take a nap. So right now, nobody's actually voted for bullying yet. So I don't know. Maybe we're all feeling really nice today. But in case somebody wants to just, I don't know, go goblin mode, cause a little mischief, maybe even the score, I think some drama would be fun. So if you would like to do that.
I don't condone bullying. I mean, if either option's going to raise money, then, you know.
It's true.
The one that doesn't. So what we found actually is Donna was at the other end of that at the other end of that dungeon. She somehow managed to cryogenically suspend herself.
Oh. Okay.
And she's unconscious right now, but I'm going to show the map, to show my map progress to Euron, who is another castaway who kind of took the place of the captain after he died. That got me a bunch of items. Actually, I think I want 3 of these. Do I want 3 of these? Yeah. I have to do another raid, but at this point, having the barricade at level 1 isn't going to cut it, so I'm going to upgrade it to... I'll try to get it to 5, actually, if I can. If I can't get it to 5, then I'll have to come back and do it later. I only really needed a 3 or 4. Yeah, okay, whatever then. Just start. So the good thing about this raid is that every wave starts here. In this one spot. And in fact, the second wave takes place, all the enemies spawn there. So I can just kind of stand there and attack. Actually, what I want to do is I want to equip the red gloves to Ricotta and teach her a skill that I kind of forced her to learn called Flame Swing. So I'll talk about status effects in this game. The way that works, I think on both ends actually, is if you get hit with something that can inflict a status effect, or if you hit the enemy with something that can inflict a status effect, there's like a bar underneath their health bar that you can see that fills up. And when that's full, they get the status effect. And so, Ricotta has a move she can learn called Flame Swing. That will inflict a burn. I also equipped her with an accessory called the Red Gloves, which also have a chance to inflict a burn with any attack, pretty much. And that will, having those 2 things at the same time will double the burn meter, I guess, and enemies will get burned really fast. And when enemies get burned, they kind of just die, on easy mode anyway. And that sort of substitutes having to fight these monsters at all. Bosses, unfortunately, I still have to fight legit, but kind of these trash mobs in the raids, if the monster has too much health for me to like kill quickly, I can just burn it. So Ricotta's going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Little tiny cute fireball situation.
Yeah. Here comes Dogi again. Oh, the way he like punches the ground.
Pop in another reminder if we have a little more time in the wave. So I wanted to point out that in addition to your monetary donations, Go Rescue is always in need of supplies to keep the pups happy and healthy. So they accept dry, canned dog food, bleach to keep everything clean, cheap paper towels, laundry detergent, furniture, even vehicles. So you can go to GoRescueDogs.com and the How Can I Help tab to find their Amazon wish list. If you would like to donate something differently. Maybe you can also find like some dog toys in there, like some squeak toys maybe? I don't know. It sounds kind of fun. But having worked at a shelter in the past, I know that they absolutely do go through supplies very, very quickly. Dogs are real hungry, so I don't know, let's feed the pups, let's give them some treats.
Yay! So I remember my first casual playthrough when I got to this part, I kept losing the raid to the gate being broken down. because I didn't realize you could upgrade it, and it was at level 1. This is like the first raid where you can't get away with having the gate at base level. That was kind of frustrating. Also, Donna is awake, and she actually joins the party here, so you can play as Donna in the present. Donna's actually pretty strong. She's totally a viable DPS option for a glitchless run, and runs have been done that use Donna as the main damage dealer, but not in the route I'm using. I'm gonna stick with Sahad, just so I don't have to like upgrade as many weapons.
That makes sense. Donna, wake up. It's 1,000 years in the future. We still don't have cell phones.
So true. Yeah, you think that would... oh, but there's probably no service on this island, though. I was going to say that would end the game pretty quickly if you could just call someone to bring a boat, but I guess that doesn't solve the giant squid problem.
But,
nor does it really matter if there are no cell phone towers on the island.
You mentioned it before, and now I'm confused. So, Hummel was coming to bring ship plans.
Yeah, you know, it confuses me too.
Off the island.
Yeah, it confuses me too. I don't remember exactly what he said. I remember he was here. He had the intention to bring the escape plan to Thanatos, but he was on the ship, presumably not expecting to get shipwrecked on the... I don't know. I'm not sure. I think there's an explanation there, but I haven't seen these cutscenes in a long time.
Yeah, that's what cutscene skips are for, and then later that's what going to the wiki is for, and
yeah,
trying to figure out what happened. It's like someone explained this to me.
I meant to do a little bit of wiki cramming before the run, but I forgot.
That's what like YouTube videos and synopsis and stuff. Yeah, it's fine.
VIII explained. Why is Hummel here? I mean, Hummel's just like, his whole thing is just like a really mysterious guy in general, and some of the stuff he does doesn't make any sense. There is a side quest chain where he has to deliver a pterodactyl egg back to its nest. Like, how did he get involved with that?
Did the pterodactyl ask him?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure in that case they just don't explain it, and we're just meant to take it at face value. I did not mean to do that.
All right, I'll take it at face value. Sure, I guess.
Yeah. Yay. So when Donna wakes up naturally, this is a JRPG, so she has amnesia when she wakes up. She can't really remember anything. So we kind of have to figure out why she decided to, you know, suspend herself in time and help us. And also what she knows about how to escape the island as well. Am I going the right way? Yeah, I wanted to go here. That's right. So there's a very minor side quest I did while I was playing as Donna, where I talked to an NPC and he unlocked this door for me, which was locked previously, and is now also unlocked in the future with me. So there's some chests in here that are quite nice. There's a thing. There's another thing. There's some other thing. So, I can't remember really much of the details, but kind of our quest for knowledge at this point is leading us to a place called Baja Tower, which is this way. As you can see, there's a big door in front of it, and this area was inaccessible earlier, but it can only be opened with the power of essence, which the Eternians have plenty of essence to go around, so she can open that door for us. And now we're on our way to... I think Baja Tower was like a Saurian. Saurians are what primordials were called in their time, right? Because, you know, dinosaurs are supposed to be extinct, but for some reason they aren't. There's a primordial research facility here. I think it's supposed to tell us a little bit about the creature that is keeping us from leaving the island.
We don't necessarily care about the creature that's stopping us from leaving the island, except that we want it gone.
Yeah. I think we're trying to figure out where its nest is and how to properly defeat it. And I guess the way we defeat it is we have a boss fight with it, but okay, so Bajo Tower is an interesting dungeon, actually. Oh wait, no, we don't go in there yet because there's another Donna flashback. So we're gonna have Donna go the same way that we went because the tower is inaccessible to us at the moment, given that it's up on a giant cliff, I think. So we want to plant another tree as Donna in the past to help us get up there.
Having Donna
this is another
flashbacks
thing.
while she's here.
Yeah. Yeah, she's getting her memories back, I guess. That's what that is. So here's a little mini side mission, which was not... It's another thing that was introduced with the PS4 version. It wasn't in the original. Is that you can unlock different Donna forms. So here's a giant dinosaur. I'm supposed to defeat it, but I can't because I'm not strong enough. Like I'll show you what happens. 11 damage, just no damage at all. So this is just like an auto scroll. You just wait it out for like 20 seconds or so. You can get some materials. You can get them stuck between this tree if you want. Kind of funny. The materials that Donna collects do carry over to the main party, but none of the other items do. Okay, so now I've unlocked the Gratica form, which can deal with like armored enemies like this dinosaur here. There's a lot of fun content here in side content here in Donna's time. I just can't really do any of it because it's not fast.
Does it like give you experience or anything, or is it kind of just there?
I don't know if it really benefits the main party so much.
I do like green hair Donna though. It's a good look.
Yeah. Then there's a third form that we unlock later that's also really cool.
Is it a different hair color than these two?
Yes.
Sweet. She's got style. She's got the range.
Why am I going this way? Oh well. Sure. So now we're going to plant our prayer tree, I'm sorry, and then these vines grow here. So now we can enter the test. So this is an interesting dungeon in that it is the ground is angled. It's like it's the leaning tower, right? So that's everything is kind of sideways. And this kind of natural inclination on the ground. Before I actually say anything more about that, I'm gonna make sure. Okay, I do have to pick up the chest, so it will come into play. The inclination on the ground makes some jumps possible that they didn't really expect to be possible, which is pretty interesting. So there's a chest I want to get that has two items called Saurian scales in them. It's generally supposed to be inaccessible if I didn't unlock double jump yet, which I am about to. But I can get to it if I play smart, right? So if I stand up here, where the ground is higher, I can kind of get on there where the ground is lower, using my jump slash, which, as I mentioned before, gives me a little bit of height.
Just using geometry to your advantage.
Yeah. That's the more succinct way to put it. I rambled on because I couldn't think of the words.
Oh, you gave a more thorough explanation.
Yeah.
I'm just the explain like I'm 5 because I'm 5 at heart. So that's what I'm here for.
Alright, so now that I've picked up the materials, I can now see, what do I actually have to do? How many? I only got one Zaspian tail, I think, right? So I have to really think about what I need to do here. Sparkling leaf. Trade one of those down. Actually, maybe 2. Then I want to trade up. To Razor Feather, right? Make 2 of those. Then I think I can make another Zaspian tail, right? And now with those, I can make the Savage Mask. Oh, I didn't equip the Athlete's Ring. Okay. So the Savage Mask is it's an accessory. What it does is I think it more than doubles my damage with skills in particular, but it makes them cost twice the amount of SP. So it makes me a lot stronger.
So is SP management going to become like a problem now, or is it still pretty easy?
It's mostly easy because I made I got another accessory called the Athlete's Ring, which cuts my SP cost by, come on, dude, into 2/3. It's still more than base SP cost, but it's, you know, more manageable. Also, you can get SP back pretty quickly. All you really have to do is like do a fully charged attack, which doesn't take that much time. And that'll get you most of that'll get most of the bar back.
Okay, so not so bad.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the character you use it with, right? So, like, I think Laxia regains SP a lot slower than Sahad does, for example.
She's a noble lady and she wants to take her time.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so now I have a double jump. So it's called the Archaeopteryx Wing is what it's called, but I call it double jump because that's a mouthful. I want to put that here. What I should have done, actually, when I was back at the village is I should have... Do it now, actually. I should have upgraded my weapon for Sahad. I think I can do.
So you're telling me that this game will not call them dinosaurs, but it will use the correct names of dinosaurs?
Oh, Archaeopteryx? Yeah, I guess.
I think, yeah.
I think that was the name. The thing is, I think that was the name of an item in an older East game, so maybe it's just a legacy thing, but they changed some of the other
That's pretty funny.
accessory called.
You know what? You gotta pick your battles, I guess.
Yeah. We don't want the dinosaur legal team to come after you. But I guess Archaeopteryx is fair game.
Is the dinosaur legal team a group of dinosaurs that are lawyers, or lawyers representing dinosaurs?
That's an interesting question.
I really want it to be the first one.
Yeah, I guess that's who they would hire, right? I mean, it's definitely the second one, but it's the question, is it actually both? Are dinosaurs representing dinosaurs?
At least on like legal counsel, I feel like you should have a dinosaur.
Yeah. Oh, so what this is there's a bunch of things I have. So these walls are supposed to become stairs at some point, right? You have to hit a button. You have to find out where that button is and turn them into stairs. But because like I said, because this entire dungeon's on an incline, I can just go up to the higher elevation here, and I can just kind of barely make this jump using the double jump. So I don't have to make the stairs. Here's an annoying boss. He can blow you off the stage, which I don't like he tried to do there. If you use Flash Guard, you could render yourself immune from that pushy breath that he does, but I whiffed, so I had to deal with it. And if you fall off the stage, it's just time loss. You don't die or anything. You take a little bit of damage. Oh man, that was too late. Whatever. Got some damage in anyway.
Is he like a robot dragon? Or
I'm not sure what this is.
Mechanical?
Well, you know how it is in JRPGs, where ancient civilizations have way more advanced technology than us.
Yeah, that's the trope. I mean, but it's always a fun way for game designers to make technology that, like, looks completely different than the way we understand it now. So, go off.
Right. Oh no, come on, you're dead. You're basically dead. This boss is cycle-based as well. Like, he goes invincible until I destroy this gem right here. I'm just kind of hope that I don't lose my 94 health here. Oh, there we go, he's dead.
He just wanted to drag it out for drama.
Yeah.
This leaning tower area is pretty cool though. Like it's just
Yeah.
It's silly that it's kind of all tilty inside, but it just looks really nice.
Yeah, I like the visual effect as well. Well, so we found out that by the way, the giant squid's named Oceanus, or I think it's supposed to be pronounced Okeanos, but I refuse to say that because it's ridiculous. We found out where he lives, and not where I meant to go. But also, the seas are also being patrolled by a ghost pirate ship, so suddenly pirate ghosts.
What a curveball to throw in the middle of it.
Well, it's important because the pirate ghosts are actually the ghosts of the first people. I believe the first people to get stranded on the island.
Ooh.
So I guess there's some backstory there, but other than that, this is pretty out of nowhere.
They're just like,
we gotta go find the ghost pirate ship and put it to rest or something. I don't know why this has to be done in order to. I mean, clearly it's stopping us from fighting the Oceanus, but I don't know why. I don't remember why. So, if you liked watching Ricotta fly around, I'm going to try to do another trick involving that, although if I screw it up, it's not a big deal, and I can just do it normally.
Sure did, because it's pretty neat.
That's also a place where you can find the tailor Allison's husband, Ed. But we're just going to ignore him. And he's still going to end up joining the village automatically anyway. So, I guess.
He can sort himself out.
Yeah. I forget. There's like some kind of difference between finding Ed in that garden there and waiting for him to just find us by himself. But I forget what it is. You get some kind of advantage. Uh-oh. Damn. Didn't do it. So I can, yeah, I can... If I wanted to, I could have skipped this fight, but I messed up. It's fine. It's over quickly. So yeah, I was trying to jump over this trigger and not do this.
You got remarkably far doing the flying.
Yeah, I was supposed to get up here. And I got close, and I guess I just angled my control stick wrong or something. Not a big deal. Like I said, it only takes a little, like about 10 seconds. But it's fun. It's fun to fly, I think.
Yes.
That's why this game is fun to run, because there is quite a bit of flying, as you'll see in the glitch showcase later. Anyway, we're on the ghost pirate ship, and then suddenly it starts taking off, and we're trapped. So that's nice. What we have to do to progress is to find these chests that have ship's log inside, and that just gives us lore, more or less. But it'll open these gates so we can progress.
They just want us to learn about them?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, this entire section is pretty much just a lore dump. It doesn't have any other purpose. No, it's in the next room. This chest, I think, is the one I want to pick up. Yeah, that's got the backup revives in it. As you can probably see, I've come close to death and even died a couple times already. So it's good to have revive items.
Marathon safety.
So I don't drag out the fights much longer than I need to. Anyway, giant pirate ghost. I have to be careful not to call them ghost pirates, because that's a different thing. That's a ghost who becomes a pirate in the afterlife.
So a pirate ghost is a pirate that died, and a ghost pirate is a ghost that
became a pirate.
Decided later. Okay. That's a good point. I never thought about it that way, that the order of the words would matter.
Matters in a lot of scenarios.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know,
okay,
if
so now
I
we're
were a ghost, I'd commit crime.
a crime? I don't think so. So we want to head to the ruins of the palace and find the well, I forgot the cutscenes here. We're trying to find the Oceanus's nest, which is home to the Archaeozoic chasm. This is probably one of the most infamous parts of the old localization. It was called the Archaeozoic Big Hole, which is just so awkward.
I love that though, because it's like this like very like science-y word and then big hole.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's very Google Translate sounding. I'll say that much.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's good. I'm so glad.
Well, I don't know if being pirate is a career, really. That's the thing. I think it's just something you do because you want to be a pirate. I mean, I guess people are brought into piracy through, you know, the same reason anyone else would do crime, right? Through desperation or circumstance. But I think I don't know. I feel like some people just want to dress up like a pirate sometimes as well. I don't don't really know if it is a career choice.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, honestly, maybe there's someone out there who wanted to become a pirate just for the vibes.
That's true, but what else? I think there are a lot of people who like sailing in this universe, as you know, referenced by the fact that Adel has been on a lot of boats, and a lot of these boats have crashed. So this is the fun part of the run. It's where you have to unlock the breathe underwater item, and if you don't have the breathe underwater item, you drown. Also, you'll move slightly slower in the water, I think. What is with my SP at the start of these fights? I feel like I go into there with an empty bar, and that's not usually the case.
SP is nervous because marathon.
That's a really nice attack that I like to see him do, where he will make a giant electric AoE in the ground that lingers for a very long time, so that when my flash move, my flash garb wear off, I can just do it again because the hitbox is still there.
I honestly wasn't sure if you were being like sarcastic or not for a second, because it's like, wouldn't an AoE be bad? But no, the flash guard is much more important.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So true,
so
Hunter Lionheart.
Wait, I want to get this on, and then I go here. No, this is where I just was. Okay, I know where I'm going now. So now I can breathe underwater. That's pretty nice. Trying to jump over a cutscene trigger there, missed it. It's fine. It's just 2 seconds long, if that. It probably takes longer to set up the jump over the cutscene trigger than it takes to just skip the cutscene, honestly.
So it's a kind of just like a one-to-one, or I don't know. There's a little bit of swag strat in that. It's like, I don't even want to bother skipping it. Yeah.
This is just one area of the game where I tend to get lost quite a bit. But I remember where I'm going now.
I mean, a lot of this cave looks very, very, very similar, so it kind of would be really easy to get lost. Like, this is very
especially the fact that there's like the mini-map isn't as reliable as it sometimes is because there's like 2 layers as well with the underwater and whatnot. Also the fact that, you know, the mini-map is hidden until you explore the map because of map progress and all that. So what do I actually want to do here? So I want to give you the flamestone. I want to reforge your weapon. Yeah, and then I want to talk to Euron again, hand in the map, my map progress, so I can get the run really fast accessory. Okay, I want to use this because it is good. And I will equip that the run fast accessory later, actually. So the boss fight against the Oceanus is kind of structured like a raid, where the parrot is yelling on us about Dogi Squad's progress and all that, but the Dogi Squad doesn't actually help us like they do in the raids.
So the parrot's just telling you, and you're like, "That's nice, I guess."
Yeah. Yeah, the parrot is he's a polarizing character. Because, you know, it is... parrots do squawk and chirp. And some people like that, some people don't. Do this, actually. Yeah. So I just put the Gale Feather on. That'll increase my dashing speed. It'll speed up the rest of the game.
Zoomy button.
Pretty sizably.
Love that.
So, the conceit behind this boss battle is that you gotta throw these little dandelions at him that'll fill up his stun bar. Then when he's stunned, you can actually do damage to him. Also say hi to Steve. He's in chat right now.
For a moment, when you said hi to Steve, I was like, "Wait, what's going to be named Steve on the screen?"
So yeah, this it's just a bit of an awkward way to attack the boss. You have to like latch onto the dandelions stems in the ground and then kind of pull them back like a slingshot. Also a little bit polarizing. A lot of people don't like this boss fight for that reason.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that. You can also attack him normally, but it'll take longer.
On the one hand, it's fresh and different to do so.
Yeah. So, with the defeat of this boss, the threat that's keeping us from leaving the island is will have been taken care of, and all we would really have to do is finish building the boat to escape. But as you might expect, more plot will happen. Like, you might be wondering who actually is Donna, and what happened to the civilization that used to live on this island. Will you know, their eventual fate at all be relevant to what we're going through right now? Let's switch to Ricotta so Lexi doesn't die. Many unanswered questions that would remain unanswered were we to leave the island right here, like you would expect.
Does the game play it off like you're pretty sure you're about to leave, or not? Maybe.
It depends. I think you at this point you're still wondering what is Donna's deal, and why does she matter? So probably you expect to have more game left to go.
Yeah.
But anyway, here's another flashback. Donna's in the Kingdom of Eternia once again, and there's a meteor shower. So we're gonna figure out what's going on. And now Donna suddenly gets lost in a big cloud of mist, and everybody else around her disappears. And also this bridge, which is supposed to be like, you know, a few meters long maybe, has suddenly become much longer. So if you like that little rabbit jump, there'll be more of it. And now it's being replaced by a super dash, I guess. This is where we unlock the third form of Donna, which is the luminous form. This is the one that hits for pierce weapons. She attacks really fast. She, in fact, attacks so fast that her normal attack on the current patch can trigger the damage glitch.
Awesome.
And now there's a boss fight.
Alright, Luminous Donna. Luminous Donna is a really cool, like, costume. This is good.
Yeah. So I have to use Gratica to get rid of those things around its legs, and I also have to use Luminous to not get frozen by this ice wind here.
It's like an elemental beast.
Yeah, I guess you can say that. So that attack, not attack, that skill on the meter that only cost at the very top that only costs 1 SP, that is called Dragon Spirit. And while that's active, your SP will constantly be draining, but your attacks will be stronger.
Hmm.
So that's a really nice way to do a lot of damage. But it is SP intensive, and you want to get it back pretty quickly. This is kind of where the different characters come into play as well, because Luminous form does not get SP back very fast, so if I want to get my SP back, I'm better off switching to Ecclusian form, which is the blue Donna. And because she can get her SP regenerated a lot faster.
How easy is it to form switch?
It's just a button press, but it is something that requires a bit of coordination.
You still have to be intentional with it, basically.
Yeah. So the meteors fall down, and we tried building a shield around the entire kingdom. I guess for some reason that's something someone can do. Where am I going? No, I'm going the right way. Okay. But it was not strong enough, and we'll find out in the upcoming Donna sections what happened to the Kingdom of Eternia.
Oh. So you're telling me that there were dinosaurs, and then there were meteors.
Yeah,
and
actually.
The meteors were bad for the dinosaurs.
Some interesting parallels to real world history, perhaps.
Maybe a little bit.
So anyway, after we witnessed that vision of Donna's, Donna actually leaves the party to go find the Valley of Kings. So we're following her right now, and this will eventually lead us to the Valley of Kings.
But she just jetted off, like, I gotta go do this, and then leaves.
Yeah. So, yeah, the good thing about Luminous is that she moves very, very, very fast. Probably this is the fastest form of movement in the entire game. It's just using Luminous and just dashing. So, yeah, so the meteors have attacked the kingdom, kind of left it in some kind of, I guess you can call it a nuclear winter. So all the food is going to dry out, and this will kill off the Eternians slowly unless Donna does something about it. And she's going to try to release the Tree of Psyches at the Valley of Kings to save everybody, I guess. I don't remember what any of that is, honestly. I just remember those words.
They're all very RPG terms.
Yeah. Yeah, put that on. I have to switch adventure gears a lot for this part. There's actually another chest in the dungeon coming up that will give me another adventure gear slot, but I'm just not going to pick it up because it's at the very end. It's too late. It's not useful after the dungeon, so I just won't be getting that. I'll be sticking with my 2 adventure gear slot. I just have to do a couple extra switches. Not having that 3rd adventure gear slot is a slight hindrance, but it's just not worth picking the chest in my opinion. So here's the Valley of Kings. You'll notice, oh, wait a minute. Never mind. I'll talk about what the gimmick of this place is later.
You don't want to give too much away?
It's just not really that relevant. I want to get these chests because they have materials in them, though. I went the wrong way. Sorry?
I do have a donation, if we have a minute.
Oh, sure. You can go ahead and read that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Tempest Mask 1000 donates $8 and says, I'm a simple guy. I see Bramhall V running. I donate. And speaking of donations, I believe that we can reach $1,000 by the end of tonight, just like how we've been slaying the incentives. Let's do it for the doggos. And as always, best of luck, Bram. Always a pleasure to have a friend like you.
Oh, thanks, Tempest. I'll try not to let you down.
That was super sweet. And they did put their donation towards the Mirror's Edge Play on Hard Mode Challenge and voted actually for bullying her in the Ms. Dragon Bid War. So now we've got a competition. So thank you for that. We got drama. That's what I'm here for. I'm just here to stir the pot.
I wish I hadn't done that. Can I load an autosave? Where does the autosave bring me? Probably not too far back. I think I know where I am. I didn't want to have to like remember where to go to get back to where I was. So I fell off a ledge. That's all that happened. Okay, yeah, I'm not too far back. Alright, so the gimmick of this place, I guess, is that all the monsters, most of the monsters are undead. And if you try to kill them, they just come back to life. So you will need to figure out how to deal with that. And wouldn't you know it, there exists a purifying bell in here that lets you put undead monsters to rest permanently.
You just ring a bell and they're like, you know what, I'm done. I'm out.
It's not quite that simple. It's just the fact that if you don't have it equipped, they come back to life. It's also very important to remember to actually put it on before fighting the very undead boss here.
That would be awful if the boss came back to life, yeah. Nefarious, glowing green, empty chest.
Well, yeah, sometimes the chest glows red, actually, and then I don't actually remember why this happens, but when the chest glows red, he just takes way less damage for some reason, or his health bar goes down way more slowly. Despite the fact that I'm doing the same damage I was doing.
He's just mad.
Yeah. There we go. Another reason why it's important for me to remember that bell is because I'm actually going to take it off. And I have to remember to put it back on when I need to. Where am I going? Here.
Is there a problem with leaving it on? Just it takes up a slot, maybe?
Yeah, it takes up a slot. That's all it is. I want to have to double jump on at some point.
That makes sense to me.
Oh, Ricotta. Here. Okay. So, basically, in order to unlock the door to go to the next part of the dungeon, I have to slay these monsters. Right here. What's kind of irritating is that the monsters have drops that they can drop. But when I defeat the monster, the camera freezes. And I can't actually go chase after the drops, and then they disappear. So, I just have to rely on them landing on me. Basically, I have to hope that they land on me. And some of these drops are actually pretty good. More materials I can use to make weapons. And I want to get like at least 2 of them, I think. The Essence Stone, it's called. I forget whether it's hard required to actually get 2 Essence Stones here. I haven't not done it in a while. So I guess optimally I would just go back into a corner so that hopefully the items will fall on me. But
that would be the ideal.
So the door that opens, I've been lately having a problem just because I didn't run this for a while. I've been lately having a problem remembering where that door actually is. But I think it's I think if I want to get to it, I have to go over here. Right, because then I go up these stairs. And then the door I think is across here? Or is it over here? No, I already forgot. I already forgot where to go. Hold on. I'll just do this.
I believe in you.
Yeah, it's another case where the dungeon just looks all samey, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say the exact same thing. I'm like, this isn't very.
Okay, anyway, I just go here. Okay, so here's the part I want to put the double jump back on. So anyway, the puzzle here is that I want to rotate these statues so that they match the artwork on the door. I have to turn them so they're facing each other here. And that's pretty simple, I think. Oh, and no, that one is... Oh, no, I screwed up already. I want to do it so they're facing away from each other now. There we are. Alright. There's an item called the Warrior Wrist. It's basically the substitute for the item that I did not get earlier from the raid, although I would want to put it on anyway because it's much stronger.
You'll get the full boost of it now.
Yeah.
Instead of
what I would have had earlier, yeah. What am I doing? Okay. No. Forgetting my jump tricks. There we go. Now here I want to switch to Sahad and do it like this. Wait. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, did I... I don't remember what I've done and what I haven't done yet. I'm just going to assume that I've done everything correctly. Right.
Unfortunately, having never seen this game, I can't confirm, but I believe in you, and I think you're very capable,
yeah.
so
No,
yeah.
that's right. That's right.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
You got this.
Okay, the door opened. There we go. So the next boss is also undead, so back we go to the undead bell. This boss is one of those fights where you have to kill a bunch of ads first, and then the boss shows up. So pretty, they go down very fast because I'm just very strong right now. I have to say, Steve. The stakes were pretty low there. I don't know if how suspenseful that really is.
We can pretend they were high.
Yeah, it was just me forgetting whether I had hit a button or not, pretty much. And if I hadn't hit the button, I would have just had to go hit it.
Attack you during a cutscene to show that he was available to be attacked, but the game just kind of let it happen.
What are you talking about?
I saw like the blue like attack like when the bridge was like extending for you to get over the middle. Like,
oh yeah,
the blue attack was just like rolling over you.
The good thing is that I can't take damage, so that's nice. I can't take damage during cutscenes, I should say. But sometimes that'll happen. It looks kind of silly. I think they can still push you off stuff if that's ever a threat. But okay, so now comes the infamous Evolution Marches On raid. It's pretty easy here, but in some of the like longer categories, like all story bosses, or maybe the old any % route. Do I have enough essence stones? Is the question. I don't know. This would be like the only raid you had to do, like one of the only raids you had to do. Can I upgrade my thing now? I need warm lumber. Okay, gotta go get that.
Warm lumber or worm lumber?
Warm lumber. Can I get more? Can I make warm lumber right now? Wait, it's not rare material, is it? I need one warm lumber. Don't tell me I don't have enough. Oh wait, it was over here. Oh no, I'm under rare items again. What am I doing? Here it is. Okay. Get this stupid thing to level 5. Anyway, in more glitchy categories, this is like one of the only raids you actually have to do, and you're like, because there's like it's required to actually trigger part of the story to actually do the raid, whereas the other ones you can like jump over a trigger or something and you can skip pretty much all the raids. And often you're like in all story bosses in particular, you're kind of under leveled because you skipped everything, or you skipped a lot of important stuff. And this raid ends up being kind of a nightmare. Here I just spam attack pretty much. Anyway, if you have more messages, now's a good time.
Yeah, actually what I'd like to talk about is not just what No Glitches Allowed is, but a little bit about how maybe you can get involved. So, No Glitches Allowed is a charity event dedicated to speedruns with very few glitches or without glitches entirely. So, no major glitches, glitchless like we're seeing right now, or maybe something that's inbounds, any other run that doesn't have significant tricks or skips. If you're interested in getting involved or finding out more, you can join our Discord and follow us on Twitter to get updates about future events. But also, by joining the Discord and following us, you get to learn something else pretty cool, which is if you're interested in being a No Glitches Allowed volunteer, we do host volunteer applications before the events. So they typically run alongside submissions. They're announced on Twitter and Discord. And keep an eye on that if you're interested in running, like production, being on social media, hosting live like yours truly is doing right now. Even if you're just looking to volunteer for the first time, we would be happy to help you get your foot in the door. There is no such thing as too much help. We would love to have you.
Yeah, I would have very much loved to volunteer, but I just don't think my work schedule is very reliable.
Yeah, I mean, speaking as like when I started volunteering, I was just very lucky to have a role where I basically told them, like, I'm gonna make myself really available for this other thing real quick. And my work was super chill about it, but yeah, it's like, it's always really
one of my
fun.
jobs is like that, and that's why I'm not there now. And the other one I think is a little less forgiving because they got a lot of employees they need to manage.
Yeah.
Or rather, maybe it's the opposite because we've been pretty short-staffed lately.
They're more like, wait, no, we need you. We need bodies in here. Yeah, I get that. My work doesn't really understand what I do for volunteering. They're like, it's a gaming thing. You seem very happy about it. And I'm like, yes, I love doing this. They don't quite get it.
Oh yeah, I mean when I have to take time off work to go to speedrunning events, I just don't say anything. Like speedrunning just takes so long to explain to someone who has no clue, so I just don't bother with that.
Yeah, exactly. Or they think I'm being
I generally like to be a man of few words, especially if I'm asking for time off work.
That's a good policy to have. Since my work has us specify, we have a specific allotment for volunteer time off. I do kind of have to explain a little bit of myself usually. But then they usually are like, what are you doing? Comparing it to a telethon, that's a really good point, Skull Kitty.
Oh, yeah. If anyone remembers those, even.
I promise I'm not like just like aging myself rapidly by saying this, but I actually have live worked in a telethon, like a PBS telethon.
That's good. That's valuable experience for this.
It was really cool. Yeah, it was an animal based one for an animal shelter, so I just got to sit live during the telethon and hold up puppies.
Yeah, like I usually just tell them I'm visiting friends, because mostly what I'm doing if I'm going to like a GDQ or something.
How was the 80s? Yeah, this was actually, oh my gosh, I think I was in like 2010 that I did that, so I don't know. PBS is in the 80s, I guess. But yeah, just saying with friends. It's not a lie.
They had PBS during my lifetime.
Yeah. Oh, like Jerry Lewis, but with more video games.
Jerry Lewis, oh my lord. Oh wow, while we were talking about that, I beat the raid. I wasn't even really paying attention. The raids are kind of brain off in a lot of ways.
Just autopiloted.
Yeah. That one in particular is actually pretty short. So anyway, now that we've done that, the entire northern half of the island has been covered in mist, which might seem familiar if you were paying attention during one of the Donna sections I just did.
You jet through them so quickly that it may not look familiar to me, but I believe you. This mountain looks familiar.
Oh, you know what? Actually, hang on. I forgot Adult actually needs a weapon for this part. This is the part where I have to use him again, so he needs a weapon. Can I make the Liberacion? Not the Liberacion. What's the name of this weapon? Dineslave, I think. I can make it. Okay, good. Okay, now I'm good to go. So yeah, because I have not because actually I'm not going to go quite yet. I have to unequip Sahad and give all his stuff to Adol. And did I ever make a? No, I didn't. Okay. Anyway, so I'm gonna for the boss coming up. I'm gonna be forced to use Adol by himself, similar to how I had to use Donna by herself in that one boss fight. So a very similar thing is going to happen. I'm going to be put into a one-on-one arena with a giant dinosaur creature, and it's basically going to be like a trial to become the successor to a line of important figures. And what will ensue is not exactly going to be pleasant.
So, oh well, it's not good.
Also, like, I've been neglecting Adol this whole playthrough, so he's level 50. Yeah, that should be fine.
Be fine.
I had to like, you know, burn through a bunch of weapon upgrades at the blacksmith. I had to basically give him a whole bunch of armor and equipment.
You just wake him up from his nap and you're like, "Come on, man, we gotta go."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. And then I had to like, I actually had to briefly put him in the party to force. God, third time I voided out on solid ground. I had to briefly put him in the party to force him to. Where even am I? To force him to learn an actual decent skill because he has no skills right now.
He's being carried through his own game.
Yeah. Well, in E7 you couldn't take him out of the party, so I guess they the evolution, I guess.
Can you imagine if this was like Pokemon and you had like an EXP share? It's just like he's fine.
there is an EXP share, I guess. Like Adol has been getting experience, just not as much as if he were in the active party. So like if I had actually like not gotten any experience since I benched him, he would have been like level 15 or something. But he's level 50 instead. He just is getting experience a lot more slowly than everybody else who's like level 60. So anyway, yeah, here's the long bridge with the fog again. So this is just a repeat of what we just went through with Donna.
It's the cloudy bridge.
Yep. And if I didn't have the party chat enabled, this would just be me jumping and rolling, so the fact that we can read this is at least a little bit of entertainment. And I can actually go faster than the game expects me to be, and I can arrive at the actual boss arena earlier than I need to, and I can just fall out of bounds here. That's pretty funny.
The boss is like, "Oh god, you're here early, I'm sorry." Like
and all of a sudden, the rest of my party gets stolen from me, and I'm just Adol. Oh wait, this stuns me. I shouldn't go near him. Keep forgetting about that. Alright. So hopefully this is over sooner rather than later. This boss is, I don't really like this boss that much. I can never read his attacks. Like I usually expect that to come out sooner than I press the dodge button too early.
he does look very similar to the thing that Donna fought.
Yeah, but this guy is fiery instead of icy. Missed. So yeah, I think this is the first time I've used Adol for combat at all since the very first boss on the ship. Darn it. make him level up so he heals. There we go. Now I'm level 51. Way stronger. There we go.
That's a jump.
Yeah. Although, to be honest, in Ys games, it's kind of tradition for, like, levels to really matter a lot. In this one, I think it's less significant. They kind of... Because it is a very long-running series, and the earliest games are from the 80s. So just...
Ow.
It's kind of embodied outdated notions of grinding for a while. Like, oh, you have to be this level, you can't even damage the boss. This one's a little bit more chill about that. Where do I go? Here. So what happens is that that was a trial to become the next Warden of Evolution. The Warden of Evolution is there to oversee the Lacrimosa, which is a cataclysmic event that happens every now and again that wipes out... that'll wipe out an entire species. This is how evolution happens in this world, by the way. It's not like, you know, a natural phenomenon of genetics. What happens is there has to be an apocalypse that kills everything, and then the new species comes forth from that. So that's what happened to the Eternians 1,000 years ago, and that's what's about to happen to humans. So there's the parallels with Donna and Adol. And
hey.
with the Wardens of Evolution kind of choose a fate for the current species. With the Eternians, it was the giant meteors. With this, it's going to be the world will get taken over by dinosaurs, I think. And what Donna's trying to do here is she's trying to go to the Valley of Kings to stop her Lacrimosa in her time. And she gets confronted by the Wardens of Evolution, told, no, you can't do that. Every Warden of Evolution tries to defy the Lacrimosa, and they're never successful. So what she decides to do then is, you know, put herself to sleep so that she can... Wait, where am I going? So that she can help Adol, because she's been having visions of Adol. Oh, no, I have to go this way. This entire time she's been having visions of Adol in her sleep and knows that he's going through the exact same thing that she is. So she's suspending herself cryogenically to help Adol stop the Lacrimosa in the future, so that they'll have two Wardens of Evolution kind of teaming up together. And that's the conceit basically behind the parallel storylines here.
So she's like, you know what, maybe if I can't do it alone, maybe having two of us means that it'll stop. Like, we'll be powerful
basically
enough together.
I'm sure you can imagine that, you know, this being a grand heroic adventure, it does eventually end up being what happens. But yeah, this is pretty...
Lots of wailing and gnashing of the teeth.
Yeah. This is pretty high priority stuff. You can imagine why we don't want to leave the island quite yet.
No.
So, this is the final dungeon. It's called Octus Overlook. I forget what the... Oh, wait a minute. Can I change my party? I can't. I can't yet. Alright, so how did it is then? Forgot to put Ricotta back. That's fine. Just a little bit slower. Ricotta can burn all these little enemies, little mini bosses to death.
You said the sun news that's faster.
Yeah, okay. So now Ricotta's here. So I'm basically gonna go through a bunch of. So this is the main final dungeon, but there's also a bunch of little mini dungeons in here that are themed after the various eras that have been destroyed by the Lacrimosa, and where the current there's gonna be representative of each of these eras of the current Wardens of Evolution. I'm gonna have to face as the boss at the end of each of those. So first will be the Sea era, which is, I guess, is like the fish or whatever, fish people. And this could be the Ice Age, and then after that will be the era of insects. And then the era of sky people, which, you know, doesn't actually exist in the real world, but you gotta have one, like, super advanced ancient civilization.
Yep. It's required.
So, it just kind of, like, I opt to put Adol back in the party here just because I went out of my way to upgrade his weapon, so the kind of the chip damage that he'll do as an AI cast member, I would say is valuable to me. And so I'm replacing Laxia as the main mover with Ricotta because she can move kind of fast too. Wait, do I not have? Where's the third one come from? I forget. Anyway, I can fix that later. Where do I go? Okay, ocean. Also remember that Ricotta can kind of fly, so yeah, that's good. That's good for movement as well.
Yeah. It's like if I can just skip over something, that's ideal.
Whoops! No, no, save me. Okay, there we go. So if I fall into the water, I void out, and that's annoying. So this boss, kind of irritating. He likes to hide in the water a lot.
No. Unfortunate, but understandable because if he's a water boss, he would like to swim.
Yeah. But it seems the problem is I can't go in the water and chase him, so I just gotta wait for him to come back.
So we can breathe underwater, but we can't like swim.
This is different water. This is like bottomless pit water, I guess.
Ah.
Like, I don't know. It's a video game.
Yeah, video game logic.
This water is different.
This water is built different.
just like how you know, some cliffs are okay to jump off, others aren't.
That's a good point.
Why did they have to do that? I mean, I guess I can sort of hit him if I wanted to. Oh, I died. Nice. Please die. Oh, you know what? I didn't give him his strength stuff back. That's why it was taking so long. Yeah, that would help actually.
The mystery has
it's still
been
on. It's still on Adol right now. Where are you? Come on, dude. Okay, there. Now he's done. So let me remedy that really quickly once I get the chance. I always knew that I would forget that one day. Okay. Warrior wrist. You put the gauntlets on and blade ring 2, I guess. Why not? You can have that and that. Okay. Solved. Problem solved. So if you have anything else you want to talk about, you can go ahead and do that. This dungeon's kind of repetitive and it's a little bit longer than the other ones.
Yeah, absolutely. So I can remind everybody why we are here, which is that this is for the Go Rescue Pet Adoption Center. This is in Norfolk, Virginia. They work to provide a haven for homeless dogs, giving them the time, care, and love they need to find not just any home, but the right home. And that matters so much, is finding those perfect matches for those perfect pups. So we're all about that here. A little bit of history about Go Rescue is that in 2011, a local Norfolk, Virginia woman named Georgia Obenhouse lost her home, and her only focus became how to prevent her family dogs that they had bonded with and loved for years from going back to animal control. So she's starting out with just an empty shell of a building. Go Rescue soon became not just a place for her current rescues, but a shelter that has grown to rescue over 2,000 dogs to date with no signs of slowing down. And you'll notice during our intermission screens, those are some of the dogs that they have helped in the background. So just think about when you're watching that those are dogs we've helped. That's so cool. So that is what we are here raising money for today and all through this weekend. And do you need me to keep explaining maybe some of the incentives that we have at?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cool. So we do have 2 incentives open right now that are for Mirror's Edge to play on hard mode. This will upgrade the difficulty and therefore, you know, the drama, the suspense. We love that here. And there's also one for a game called Anno Mutationem, which is to meet Saint Nicholas. Now, I'm pretty sure that Saint Nicholas is the name of Santa, and I think some Christmas in April sounds fantastic. So if you would like to donate to either of those, you can type !donate in chat, or actually scan the QR code that is Brimhall V's picture up here, and either of those will take you to the donation page. We also have a bid war going for the game Loom that's coming up, which is to either bully or let Ms. Dragon take a nap. So we do have votes for both sides, so you can go in and, I don't know, mess around, see what sounds fun. Maybe you want to do the nice thing. But yeah, both of those are open, and you can hop in, vote for whatever you want.
This isn't good.
Uh-oh.
Fine, just don't die. So this guy just has, like, a lot of health for no reason. I find that irritating.
That doesn't surprise me, though.
I do not have any... Do I have any more? I have this revive. It's not very good.
He looks tanky.
Did that guy just, like, take no damage from that? Okay, hang on. You gotta do that again. I mean, I guess I had that one. I think I had one more revive item, but it wouldn't heal me by very much. I'd probably just die right after. Also got to re-equip the double jump because I forgot to do that ages ago. Nice. Just in case that happens again, doesn't make that more safe. Or just, like, don't get hit. That'll also help. Like,
yeah.
Just that. See how easy that was? Just press the turn invincible button.
Yeah. I mean, obviously all games have that, and we should just all be pressing that all the time.
Turn invincible button failed me.
I mean, this guy does look like really, like, buff and tanky, so I'm not surprised that he's taking his sweet time falling down. But if he could just be nice and do that because we have a speedrun to do, that would be great.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'm gonna use the weaker healing. Because I know he's close to dead and I want to save the bigger one. There we go. I don't like using my extra there, but sometimes I just don't want to deal with it. Like, that guy hits pretty hard if I'm not, like... If I'm not in a skill, like I said, like I mentioned, you take less damage if you're using a skill. But if I'm not using a skill, he hits kind of hard. I'm still wearing the armor from the start of the game. Usually I would have upgraded by now. Usually sometimes when I'm upgrading my weapon, I'll look at the armors I can get and see, like, what I can make based on the materials I've had dropped here and there. And I just haven't done that just because I've been forgetting to do that. Like, I don't really have any armor upgrades routed in, so it's just, like, it's vibes based mostly. Like, what can I actually afford based on RNG?
Vibes based. That's true.
Yeah. Because some armor gives strength upgrades. That's really what I'm concerned with.
Yeah.
You don't, like, that's the... Oops. That's kind of the motto of JRPGs, right? You don't need strength. You don't need defense, just don't get hit.
That and, Soulsborne games. Just hit as hard as you can and don't die.
Right. I think next is the bug area. Oh, this boss is irritating. One of those bosses who like to move around and just disappear, kind of like the giant fish did.
Ugh.
You know, at least you know, as much as I got upset with that Minotaur, you know, at least he actually fought me, right? He didn't fly away.
The bug's just gonna leave. Great.
He's gonna leave a few times. Actually, I think the bug is a girl, so she's gonna leave a few times. And like just fly up in the air and attack me from above. It's just irritating. It's nothing like that giant chicken who like just completely went AFK for 30 seconds.
It's like, nah, I'm just dipping out.
Like this is what he does. Oh.
Oh, great. He reminds me of the Pokemon Scyther. Kind of what he reminds me of.
I guess a little bit.
Yeah. Mantis.
I feel like there's another Pokemon that he makes me think of more, but I can't remember who it is.
I'll have to think about it.
Maybe something from Diamond and Pearl, I think.
Chat, who does he remind you of?
I don't know. Oh, Chat, not Jack.
Sorry.
My name sounds like a lot of things. It's a very common occurrence in my life that I think someone's talking to me. Alright. I didn't really mention the mechanic of breaking in this game. If you hit something with their weak weapon type enough times, they'll break and they'll become equally weak to all weapon types. In addition to like other debuffs that depend on what weapon type you hit them with. So that crab, the normal version of that crab is weak to strike damage, and it's extremely tanky until you break it. At which point its defense drops significantly. Not so much with that crab or that version of the crab, but it just has no weaknesses and it's just very tanky regardless. And if not for burn strats, that would be a huge pain. But because I can just burn it to death, I care a little bit less. Okay.
So are we about to go fight like the crab people? Like, is this like a moment for like carcinization where nature keeps making crabs? Or
no, this is the sky people.
Darn.
The crab was just that one little mini boss.
Aw. I think a crab people thing would be pretty great.
Oh, I wish too. I think that's kind of what the fish people were supposed to be. Maybe. Here's a boss that likes to jump off the arena as well. Doesn't exactly disappear, but still like becomes hard to hit. Because I risk like jumping off the arena myself and voiding out if I try to go after him.
Could they just do us a favor and like stay? Actually?
Yeah. No.
Is that possible?
Well, the Lacrimosa must go on, right?
That's true.
The future of humankind, or I guess the future of the planet, relies on this happening every few thousand years or so. I'm actually not sure why. I'm actually not really sure why the Lacrimosa is necessary, just to piss us off, I guess. Like we've already established in our real life world that species can evolve, you know, without destroying everything on the planet, right? It happens naturally.
I don't know, maybe like the what were they that are like trying to decide like what happens to each one? They just get bored and they're just like, you know what? Let's just have a do-over.
Okay. Yeah. I thought I for a second missed a warp point and I would have been like, oh man, that's annoying. Okay, so this is the final boss, which I guess is supposed to be like evolution itself. His name is Theos de Androgram. It's the final boss of this route anyway. There's actually a true ending boss, which I will not be fighting because I have not done nearly enough side quests to unlock that. This game has 3 endings. I will be getting the worst one because, of course, I am. I had to go. I was going too fast and missed all the criteria, pretty much.
Yeah, but you beat it, and that's what matters.
Yeah. Yeah, I just happened to leave like a few dozen people on the island still.
They'll be fine.
They'll be fine. Okay, so this is 3 phases. The first one are these tentacles. You know, very symbolic, right? It started with tentacles and it ends with tentacles. The Alpha and the Omega, as it were.
Very poetic.
but the tentacles go down really fast because I'm just too much of a powerhouse. Sahad too strong.
Way to go, Sahad.
Next is the second phase, which is a bunch of crystals and then a big crystal. So time is not when I kill the boss like it is in some games. I'm just gonna bring that up. There's still like about a minute after I kill the boss.
Got it.
Time. Do you remember the fish soup?
I was going to ask about that. Is the
Okay,
fish
so
soup returning?
The fish soup is an item that increases break rate, and you have to damage the boss by breaking it. So you'll see just how quickly it will go by when I have the fish soup on my side.
Fish soup, MVP.
Oh wait, no, I actually wanted to feed the fish soup. Uh-oh, can I not? Dang, that was my only chance to equip. Oh well, didn't. There's also an item I picked up that increases break rate when I equip it, but I didn't need to put it on. I'm just too strong. Ah, dang, that was okay. Whatever. He just flew away, so that's irritating.
Of course.
Oh, nice. An undodgeable screen-size laser.
That's, that's an RPG classic.
Well, you can the way you're supposed to avoid taking damage off that was you flash guard, obviously, but I missed the timing and got hit by it. Anyway, that was the last boss. I have to talk to some NPCs here. Well, Ricotta's not an NPC, but to talk to some people. Talk to Hummel. We didn't really see much of him. Very sad. And we talked to Sahad. Just about finishing up the building of the boat. So basically what happens in the bad ending is that Donna basically gets also time. What happens in the bad ending is what happens in all three endings is that Donna kind of like sacrifices her existence to bring end to the Lacrimosa, and in the bad ending you don't find out what actually happens to her. In better endings you find out that she like ascended to godhood, and I guess it ended up, it's actually a happy ending, really. But the same thing happens in all three endings, just the information that you're given that changes. Anyway, I hope everybody watching enjoyed that. It's a great game, fun movement. I have a glitches to show, don't I?
You do have glitches to show. That was absolutely fantastic. Like, yeah, what a cool game.
Yeah, so just as I was talking about how great this run is, I'm just like, oh yeah, the reason that is because of the glitches. I should probably show off the glitches. Okay, load. So I talked a little bit about swamp and how that slows down your movement, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, like, if I jump into the swamp here, if I jump above the swamp here, the AI will follow me into the swamp and they'll be standing in it. If I switch to somebody who's standing in the swamp, I basically get a free double jump, right? So do something like this. So that's pretty fun. All of these glitches, by the way, I'm about to show, unlike maybe some glitch showcases you've seen where they just kind of just show fun stuff. All of these glitches are currently used in speedruns or were at one point before they got obsoleted by different glitches. So here's a boss. You remember the tree boss? I can actually just do this if I want to. But maybe I don't want to fight trees. Maybe I want to save the trees.
It's a fist run.
Maybe I want to spare X-Death today. Where am I?
I just really like
cool.
that this is done by ascending directly to heaven. Like,
so that's cool. Put a bookmark in that. The fact that I just left that boss fight is going to be significant later. So after each Donna section, you can go back and you can do it again. So here I am, and this one is luminous, right? So I want to go back to town, right? Oh, I can't go back into town. There's a trigger blocking me. Okay, so what if I did something like bind my switch button to my attack button and do something like this? There we go. So now I'm in the city of Aegeus, the capital of Eternia. The game doesn't really have a state for this town to be in since I'm not supposed to be here. So like everything, all the actors and NPCs have despawned.
It's just totally empty.
Including a door that's supposed to be blocking me from entering this door. There's actually a couple ways to set up this particular trick, but this is one's the easiest to explain. So what happens is I can go into this door, which I'm not supposed to be able to go into. This is the Bellato Monastery. This area does not exist in Donna's time. So if I go back out, I'm now in the ruins of Eternia in the present. So now I get to play as past Donna in the present. So I can just kind of go chill and see all the places that you've seen in the run as somebody who's not supposed to be there.
It's always fun.
So what happens, I guess, you know, incidentally, apropos of nothing, what happens when I leave a boss fight is that the game thinks I'm still fighting the boss. And if I go onto a map that has, you know, a boss fight on it at any point, it'll spawn that boss in. You know, just incidentally, right? So let's say I go onto this map here, and then suddenly giant monkey.
Oh.
I'm playing as Adalroyd. So this monkey is basically part of a chain of side quests where this monkey is training you to he trains each party member individually to teach them a new skill. So my party automatically gets changed to Adal for that there.
So we've just become monkey.
So I'm done playing as Donna right now. I want to move on. Wait, no, I'm not. So what happened when it overrode my party state as just Adal and made it so that, you know, back in the present I'm playing as Donna's, I guess. And so Donna's cloned herself as all three forms.
Donna, and Donna. We're all here.
So I'm doing this again, right? So that I can set up another fight. I'm gonna be respawning the tutorial fight from the start of the game outside of Castaway Village. So the hovering trick still works as three separate Donnas. It's just a little bit harder. It's better if you like kind of just do it rhythmically rather than just like hammering the button. Okay, so I am on the other side of the barrier. That's good. So if I kill these enemies from the other side of the barrier, then leave, the game is a little confused about what it's supposed to do next. So it fades out like this. And then, you know, it just plays a bunch of cutscenes. And these are actually cutscenes whose triggers I ran over in that brief period I had while the screen was fading to white. So this is probably the most broken glitch in the entire game. This is what shortened the 80% run down to 11 minutes.
That makes sense because it just kind of gives up.
And and you know, you can force like a cutscene from the very end of the game to play and maybe jump right to the credits.
Yeah, that makes that 11 minutes thing make a lot more sense.
And you know, I would love to show exactly how that works, but one, I don't have as much time for the glitch showcase, and two, I couldn't get the setup to work on this file, so I'll stop it here for now. I guess I'm watching this one multiple times. If you run through the same cutscene trigger more than once, it'll just play that cutscene more than once.
We're just gonna watch it on a replay.
Yep. So that'll be that's it for Ys 8. Again, I hope everybody enjoyed it. I hope everyone enjoyed that little showcase I just gave.
Yeah.
And I don't think there are too many people running it right now, but I recommend if you see an Ys 8 speedrun on Twitch, you should give it a look because it's very interesting. There's very interesting stuff.
Yeah, this has been super, super fun. Fantastic job, and all those glitches were. You know what? It makes all those like the categories that are a lot shorter make a whole lot more sense.
Yeah.
So seriously, like GG to you. That was amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
So if people want to find you, maybe watch you do this again, can they follow you anywhere?
Yeah, I'll be just my Twitch channel is Bram Hall the Fifth. Um, I try to like just go live whenever I feel like it. Like I said, I'm working a lot these days, so doesn't always happen very much. But I do want to kind of get back into the East 8 grind. The All Story Bosses category did see a pretty major overhaul actually recently, and I haven't gotten a chance to test it out yet. So I hope to do that in the not too distant future. Also, stick around and keep an eye out for Tempest Mask 1000, who I think is running Curse Crackers right after me.
Correct.
So yeah, good luck to him.
Yeah, and he was the one that sent an awesome donation earlier, so it's fun to kind of for you to get to share the love. So that was perfect timing. In that case, though, if you are ready to go, we will jump over to our intermission screen. But thank you so much again for being here. This was just absolutely a delight, like a fun game, and like fantastic to watch you play. All right. Save the dogs. We will. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to No Glitches Allowed 10 for Go a Rescue Pet Adoption Center. So my name is Jaypeg. I have been your host for these past few runs and had an amazing time. But it is time for me to say goodbye for just a little bit. So really, see y'all real soon. You'll see me around, I promise. But for the moment, I am going to leave you in the ever-capable, ever-talented hands of Indie Villain, who will take you through, I don't know, I think a pretty cool, iconic block. Just, there might be some fun stuff in here. So, again, my name is Jaypeg, and I will see y'all around.
Thank you so much, Jaypeg. That was way too kind. And like she said, she will be back for Sonic Mania by Metroid Prime in just like 2.5 hours or so. I'm Indie Villain, and I know you thought you could get rid of me yesterday, but no, I'm back for day 4, and I'll be your host for Sonic Block. Naturally, like any good Sonic Block, we're starting with Cursed Crackers, For Whom the Bell Tolls. Tempest will be running this very good game, and I'm really looking forward to Chime, the cute little companion, being super cute. Right now, there are multiple incentives you can donate towards. One of them will make our Mirror's Edge run tomorrow play on hard mode, and another will cause our Anno Mutationum run to meet St. Nicholas. So let's meet Santa, y'all. As a reminder, all funds raised will be going to Go Rescue, a no-kill pet adoption center in Virginia. Go Rescue works to provide a haven for homeless dogs, giving them the time they need to find the right home. Thank you so much for everyone who has donated and shared this event, and just for hanging out with us. This is so great. And we will be ready for Cursed Crackers, For Whom the Bell Tolls in just a moment, and Tempest will be ready to go in just a few minutes. So hang out, and we'll be right back.